Good morning to everyone, and we welcome you to this event. To set the tone for this activity, we'd like to request our former Vice Governor, Ma'am Billy Calizo Quimpo, to give us a rationale of what's going to happen today and why we are here this morning. Ma'am Billy.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Governor Miraflores and Congressman Marquez. Uh, my role this morning is to establish the intent and objective of this meeting. Our good governor thought it best to gather all the stakeholders of the tourism industry of this province to take a united stand in response to the recommendation of the three government agencies for the closure of the island for rehabilitation purposes. Yesterday, the governor was with Secretary Simato, and I believe that they were in a meeting for almost the whole day and was able to cover extensively some possible options apart from closure. And the governor will be able to enlighten us all. But as an industry, I actually took the liberty to propose that we take after evaluating the situation, after our deliberation this morning, that we take a united stand and let our voices be heard, not only as a tourism industry in Aklan, but the entire Philippines. I've had some discussions with leaders of the tourism industry in other areas, in other provinces, as well as on the national level. And they are with us in our belief that closure is not an option, is not a good option. And even just a premature announcement of closure without discussing the plan for rehabilitation with the stakeholders, it seems a bit, what you call this, we feel that we are kept in the dark of what is going on and what are the plans. And as stakeholders, we feel that we should be in the forefront of this rehabilitation because we're the ones involved. So this is the intent of this meeting, and we have to keep ourselves focused within this issue. Let us not take up any other issues, no, except this, because we would like to ensure that we have a definitive outcome or course of action to take after this meeting. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have reached a point when we have no other choice but to work together to rehabilitate the island. Admittedly, we have so many challenges in the island, and we are with the government in its efforts to rehabilitate it. But at the same time, we cannot compromise also the faith, especially livelihood and economic impact on the province and all the workers in this industry. So I hope that you will all contribute positively to come up with a better option than closure. Thank you very much. May we now give the floor to the governor.
Thank you very much, former Vice Governor Billy. our good congressman, Congressman Lito Marquez, our representative of the mayor, who is coming also, by the way, Mr. Ed Sanso, our vice mayor, Mr. Abram Swallow, the president of BFI, Nanette Graff, the members of BCCI, who are all here in front, the other stakeholders. Good morning. As I look back to the development of Boracay, I did not foresee that we will come to this. Never did I foresee that it will come to this point where we are threatened by closure. And looking back, we also all have a share in what has happened to Boracay. Stakeholders, local government, national government, has also a share in the fault that has been addressed to us. And so now is not the time to anymore point blames on anybody, but we have come to a point that we have to unite as an industry, unite here in Boracay, the province of Aklan, to be able to show to the national government that we can do the rehabilitation without closure. Last Thursday, when I saw the pronouncement of the three secretaries, especially Secretary Simato, on the recommendation to the President that they will close Boracay for a maximum of 1 year or a minimum of 1 year, I immediately thought that how did it come to this? We have known about these problems facing us for many, many years. I don't have to go into details about these problems facing us because we have discussed this in many of our meetings, but apparently we were not able to resolve it, and we went on our merry way of making money for the province, for the stakeholders. Everyone was happy in on the business that has been generated, that we forgot about our social responsibilities in our social responsibilities for the island and for the province. And so it has come to the point that, as Vice Governor Bibi has said, that we have to unite as an industry. And I am proposing a two-pronged approach. First is that we should make our voices heard in Malacanang, because it's now only the President that can decide on our fate already. The recommendation has been made, and it's up to the President whether to approve that recommendation or not. So the call now is in Malacanang. So we have to make our voices heard to the President and make at least an appeal of the whole industry of the repercussions of the closure of Boracay, especially those related industries like the workers, the hotel workers, the boatmen who are here, the transport industry. Because as I have observed, the President has a soft heart for the marginalized sector. And so you have to make your voices heard, especially the workers, of the displacements that can happen, of the lost jobs, lost opportunities that many will suffer if closure is indeed implemented. So we will be able to at least gather the support of the whole industry, tourism industry, not only the province but the national industry. We're also planning to get the support of the Regional Development Council composed of the 6 governors of the region. We're also planning to mobilize the Visayas bloc of congressmen to make that appeal to the president, because as it is now, it's really the call of the president. The recommendation has been made, and initially, I was informed that this was approved already. They're just waiting for the announcements. So we are pressed for time that we have to make that appeal as soon as possible. And we're doing that on the political front, but you should also do that as those that will be affected the most, especially the workers, the boatmen, the tricycle drivers, all of these people who rely on the tourism industry. That is phase one. That is the first option. The second is a bit more encouraging, because yesterday I was with Secretary Simato for almost the whole day, from 7 o'clock in the morning up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And we extensively discussed what could be the other option without closing, or rehabilitating the island, but not closing the island. And so we went to Puka Beach from Katiklan. He saw that there is already a substantial improvement there, because all the shanties, all the stores that were in the beach front of Puka Beach has been removed already. Well, that is a welcome sight for him, because when we went there, maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that was the one that he saw before. So there was a substantial improvement. After that, we went to the bat caves, saw that there are still bats around. And after that, we went to West Cove. And he saw also that it has been closed already by local government. There was a police car in front of West Cove, and there was a big sign that business is closed. So these are some of the improvements that he saw after our visit, maybe 2 weeks ago. After that, you have to remember that there were 4 issues that were the basis of this recommendation. First is the issue on drainage and sewage. It's sad to say that on the drainage issue, from the time this problem cropped up, they were actually monitoring already. He instructed DNR to monitor the coliform count in the drainage outfall in Bolabo. That was not revealed to us before. But in the press conference, he said, and this was confirmed, that instead of the coliform count going down from the time there was this issue of closure, instead it went up. It went up to as high as 18,000 parts per million. And the standard is only 400 parts per million. So you can imagine the tremendous increase in that particular outfall in Bolabo. So, second, the issue of sewerage, and this will be addressed. I will Boracay Water will be able to confirm this. Is that they have now actually have a plan of action how to be able to reduce the pressure of the sewerage and the wastewater in Balabag STP. So the first was drainage and sewerage. The second issue was on solid waste management. He said that we are generating already, as per the monitoring, we are generating 115 tons of mixed waste a day. And according to their monitoring, only 35 tons of mixed garbage is being brought out of the island. So there is more or less, according to them, 80 metric tons of mixed waste that is left in the island. So that was the second issue. The third is illegal structures on wasteland, on forest land and wetlands. And of course, the structures that are along, that are within the 25 plus 5 easement in the front beach, in the beaches of Boracay. That was the third. The fourth was the traffic. That our roads is already congested to a point that any work or any improvement or any rehabilitation of sewage pipes, sewer lines is not possible anymore. So these were the four issues. And in our long discussion, as we were walking, going around the island, I showed to him on the second issue of solid waste. I gave my assessment that this is the easiest way to resolve. As long as our barangay MRFs are restored. And I showed to him, I brought him to the Balabag MRF and showed him that after only 15 days of operation, after the takeover of the province of Aklan to operate the Balabag MRF, there was a very significant improvement in the reduction of waste. And he was quite impressed when he saw that when the bottles were crushed, and he saw that this can be converted into paving blocks and hollow blocks. He saw that, I think that was the first time he saw this kind of arrangement or improvement, that he was quite impressed with what they were doing. He saw also the composters, and he saw the donation of Senator Villar for a biocomposter that will process the biodegradable, the kitchen waste in Malabag. Because according to the reports, there are 7 truckloads of biodegradable kitchen waste in Malabag alone. And if we can process this, and he saw that it can be processed because the machines are there already, then we can substantially decrease or reduce the garbage that goes out of Boracay. And the only garbage that will be brought out are the residuals. So in our waste management, as long as you segregate biodegradable, the non-biodegradable, the one that you can sell, the plastics, which can be pressed, there is actually a process. And it's a good thing that it was also presented to him what was the municipal solid waste management program before. And he saw there was a presentation, and it opened up his mind that the solid waste management program is the least of his worries. Because I told him that we can do this in the next maybe 15 to 1 month. We can actually have a system of reducing the waste, solid waste, not anymore having the remaining 85 tons in the island, but all of this can be reduced by composting, by selling all the plastics or bottles can be crushed. And so he was quite impressed with that presentation that it can be done in the next couple of weeks. And I have committed to him that I will be talking to the mayor, since it's the province now that who runs Balabag, if the mayor can also restore the barangay MRF of Manok-Manok and do segregation as soon as possible. And I was willing, I will be talking also to, well, Mr. Ed Sanso is here, and I hope he relays this to the mayor, that we can immediately restore the barangay MRF, install all the equipments in the next 2 weeks so that we can reduce the garbage that goes out of Boracay. So that is one. Second, that we discussed is the drainage issue and the sewerage issue. And Ms. Axe is here. We called Boracay Water and Boracay Tubi. Who is representing Boracay Tubi? Okay. The one who represented you was Jojo, the manager. And his attention, they were called in the meeting that was already after lunch, afternoon. And they were given specific parameters. What can BIWC do in the next couple of weeks that can reduce the wastewater discharges in the sewer manhole? And Axe here was able to present that, as you will know, Balabag STP is already overflowing. And that is why they cannot process the whole wastewater of Balabag area because of the tremendous increase in wastewater production, because of the tremendous increase of the hotels and establishments in Balabag. And so what is happening, we have been experiencing, is that because there is overcapacity of Balabag, you can see that manholes, in the manholes there are times that this overflows. Because the resort owners, of course, it's understandable that when there is a backflow in your kitchen or in your toilets, the tendency is to pump this. And when you pump, there is pressure on the line, and wastewater comes out of the sewer manholes. So what Ayala did was, they put up a second STP in Manok-Manok. This was done maybe a year ago, and I was also I witnessed the opening. But the problem is, it was not yet connected to the Balabag STP. So what they started to do is do the connector line from Balabag to Manok-Manok, and it's quite timely because they did this already a year ago, and they're just on the completion phase of this Balabag to Manok-Manok sewer lines. And so the commitment of BIWC, please confirm this, Axe, kasi baka may nakalimutan naman. The commitment is that by the end of March, tama ba ako? This March, they will be able to complete the connector line, and immediately that will decongest Balabag STP. And 2 million liters per day, according to you, ha? Tama yung figures mo. Baka 2 million liters per day of wastewater can now be diverted to Manok-Manok. That will tremendously reduce the pressure of our sewer lines in Balabag. So that is the immediate that can be done. Second, BIWC was asked, how about your present sewer lines? because, of course, the present sewer lines of PIWC was an inherited sewer line from PTA that was constructed in 1998. I know this because I was already governor at the time. And it was not anticipated then by PTA and now TIESA that the volume of wastewater will now come to this point. And so the lines that they have from Ambassador to Manok-Manok Plaza, that whole stretch, that's around 4 kilometers, maybe 5. Anyway, around 4 kilometers to 5. They only are using a 200 millimeter pipe. So the plan is to increase this to double the size, to 400 millimeter pipes of sewer lines. But they have to pass the main road. Half of that main road has to be closed in order for them to do a 24/7 work, to shorten the construction. When PIWC was asked by Secretary Simato, how long will you take in constructing that at present conditions? At the present conditions, according to PIWC, their estimate is 1 year. So when the PIW said 1 year, the Secretary said, tamang-tama pala yung 1 year kung closure para magawa niya. That was the reaction. But of course, I recommended I asked Secretary Simato if we will be able to show that even if we close 1/2 of that road, of course not the whole stretch, section by section, Malabag, whatever, where there are turnarounds, where there are access roads to the back, and we can manage our traffic while it is being constructed. Will PIWC promise to reduce the 1 year construction to maybe 3 months, considering that we will give them 24/7 access to the main road? So anong sagot mo doon, Ax?
Upon checking with our technical team, the shortest will be 6 months. But I told Secretary Simato, I will raise this to our top management so that they can have a full force of the manpower to really do the work that we're promising. So from 1 year, we can reduce it to 6 months, but we'll try to work on
Why for 3 months?
2 contractors. We will have additional contractors if that will be
You
necessary.
tell your boss that
Yes.
you will lose money if you don't finish it in 2 months, 3 months. All of us will be losing money.
But if I may correct, Governor, the immediate pipe that need to be rehabilitated is from Ambassador to cracks of Boracay and then the road going to our facility. Yun yung immediate po. Kasi doon nagkakaroon ng choke points. That's where also the location of the 4 manholes that currently have manhole overflows. So we will prioritize that section, and then the other section
From Crabs
to Manok per gen, we no longer need to upgrade it since there will be no big developments, and also there will be deloading from Balabag going to Manok.
Okay, that's a better option because you will shorten. So you can
up
do it
to
in 2 months.
Crabs
Because the 1 year was from Ambassador to Manok-Manok Plaza. And you're reducing that to Crabs, then 2 months will be enough.
3 months now, sir.
3 months.
Sa identified area po.
Yes, yung yes, yung Ambassador to Crabs, because that is where the overloading is happening. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so mag-commit na ba si Fernando dyan?
Just last night po, our President, Ferds de la Cruz, called our General Manager, Mike Santos, through Jaime Zobel. But after this meeting, we will send another update that we are tasked to complete the rehabilitation in 3 months. So probably they will really give much manpower to contractors to finish the work from Ambassador going to Camps of Cruz.
Because that was our commitment to Secretary Simato,
Yes,
3 months.
Yes, sir.
So, now, with that, immediate deloading by end of the month, and the rehabilitation of the pipe from Ambassador to Crafts, because we were discussing that they can do it in 3 months. So the next question is, how can they do it without closing the traffic? So there is now a need for the back road to be completed. The Public Works is here, and if you are familiar, from Lake Town, instead of going left back to the main road, there is a small road going to the back of Bolabong. And from that, it can be connected already. If the road is done along the Long Beach, along the Bolabong Beach, within the 25+5, this can be connected to the road going to Mount Loho. Are you familiar with that? No? Going to Mount Loho. So that to ease the congestion in the main road while this main pipe is being constructed, because they really have to close 1/2 of the road, then we can divert some of the traffic, no, of those resorts in the north can use the back road from Cagban all the way beside the fence of fairways, that is where the road will come out. So now the most critical thing now is how can we open up that back road? And this has been surveyed already by the DNR. The representative is here, former Regional Director Duran. They have surveyed the area. The most critical is the one that after Lake Town, turning right, there is a small road and there is a couple of claimants, owners, that will be affected. This is now under negotiation that they give the right of way, because that is the most critical issue. On the right is owned by a Chinese businessman. Sino nga yung Mike? Anyway, a Chinese businessman. China. Pauwi natin dito. And on the left is Villanueva Gross. Gross? Anyway, we're now currently negotiating with these two people. And initially, the Chinese guy is already willing to give the right of way. The other problem is on the left side, the family of Villanueva Gross initially gave the consent, but now put up a no trespassing in his fence. So that is what we would like to do. Hopefully, within the next few days, we can negotiate that we be given the right of way, because the money is there already. A contractor has been identified already. The equipment of DPWH is there already. It's just a matter of getting the right of way, and we can construct it, and maybe in 2-3 months, we can complete the road already, so that we can start with the construction of the main sewage line from Ambassador to Crafts. So those were basically the discussions we had. And so Secretary Simato was, upon rethinking his position, said that if we can do this, minimum requirements to answer the 4 questions of sewage, drainage, solid waste, the illegal structures, and the traffic. If we can show to him that we can somehow do this in the next month or 2, according to him, there might be a reconsideration in the closure order. He's not promising anything, but if we can show to the President that, sir, the people of Boracay has cooperated, the people of Boracay is united to resolve this issue, clean up the island, and these are the things that they have done already, then maybe the President might reconsider. It is not yet a done deal, but there is already that window of opportunity. Because right now, the order is really close. No ifs and buts about it. It's really too close. So, in our day-long discussion, so what are the measures that we should undertake? The most critical now is the drainage and sewerage problem. This whole thing came about because of the drainage outfall in Balapa, in Bulao. And in the next 15 days or 30 days, we can show that we can reduce the E. coli count in the drainage outfall, then that is already a very substantial achievement for us. So what do? We have to clean up our drainage lines. And LGU Malay has started doing that. We have to clean this up. We have to remove all the waste inside. We have to seal, and this is the most critical, we have to seal all those illegal connections to the drainage, which is the culprit of the high coliform count on the outfall. And this needs now the support of the stakeholders, all of you. If you see your neighbor, or you know your establishment that is still connected to the drainage line, please tell us. Because we are now doing a review of all these drainage lines and those that are illegally connected. And if you're illegally connected, please voluntarily seal it. Because this is now my commitment to Secretary Simato, that we will reduce the E. coli count in the next week, or the next few weeks, or at most 1 month. Because they are daily do a monitoring of this outfall. That is what the President saw when he said that Boracay is a cesspool. When he saw those wastewater coming out of that drainage pipe. So, may I ask everybody now, because this is the first thing that Secretary Simato has said to us, that clean up the drainage. Show to us that you can do it. And he knows about the stakeholders meeting. It's because very timely. Because yesterday, I did not plan that I would go with Secretary Simato. When I learned that he flew in from Manila Wednesday evening, I went to him Thursday morning. We had breakfast because I know him personally. And he was the one who invited me to come to Boracay. And it was a very timely opportunity because I was able to show to him and I was able to explain to him the details of what has happened to Boracay and what can be done for Boracay. But at the end of the day, it will be us, local government, DNR, the water service providers, all of us together with the stakeholders that must really, really stand together and work together to clean up this mess. Sad to say that there are still establishments, still restaurants, that continue to connect to the drainage. I'm not sure if some of you are here, but there are still some, the small operators, especially along the drainage lines. So that is the first order of the day. We will help LGU Malay, and I brought here my provincial engineering office to help LGU Malay to open up all these manholes of the drainage system and clean it up and seal all the illegal connections, and hopefully hopefully in the future, nobody will now again connect to the drainage line, so that we can clear the water of the drainage, so that we can reduce the E. coli count at the outfall of Bolabog. There are 4 outfalls, am I correct? Are there LGU? Sino ba nakakaalam dito? Ang alam ko lang sa Bolabog eh. There are 4 outfalls. Yes, Lynette, because you are the expert of Bolabog.
I drink it every day. There are 2 major outfalls made by TSA. One in the back of PWC, and the other one is near Hangin.
Is that near the Bolabog Road at the end?
Where that's where the confidential road, I think, pass. Tapos, there's one more, but it's not an outfall. It's a natural waterway. Exiting to Bolabog before going out to Mount Tubo. But the official outfall made by TSA, dalawa lang.
Okay. So, can we ask whom do I ask? Local government? Ed?
Yeah.
Can we trace these drainage lines from the source to the outfall? Because I would think that this is where the local government of Malay is now concentrating. Yes, Nanette?
May isa pa pala doon banda sa may Laguna de Boracay. Gawa yun ng LGU nung araw pa.
Laguna de Boracay.
May Laguna de Boracay. Before Laguna de Boracay. Meron pa doon. May ito ang
Ito lang yun. So we have to check all of this. But I think the most critical is the one here in Bolabog Beach along the Hangin area. The Chiesa pipes. The 2 Chiesa pipes. We have to show within the next 15 days, or at least at the most 1 month, that we can clean up our drainage. That is the first request of Secretary Simato. Clean up the drainage so that I will have something to report to the President. Because that is the drainage pipes that was seen by the President in the presentation to him in Malacanang. So if we can show to him that we can clean this up amongst ourselves, I am mobilizing our engineering group together with the LGU, and we have also the commitment of PIWC, TSA, and the Boracay 2B to help us here. So that we will have a concerted effort, we will divide the work amongst us. I may request the LGU Malay, whoever is the engineer there, we can coordinate with you. We will divide the work kung saan ang LGU Malay, kung saan ang LGU Aklan, kung saan ang mga volunteers dyan na makakatulong. Because this is the most critical issue that has been identified by Secretary Simato. Second is, of course, as discussed by PIWC, the connector line. And so Secretary Simato was convinced that with the connector line, diverting 2 million liters per day wastewater to Manok-Manok, then that will ease initially that will immediately unload some of the wastewater treatment from Balabag to Manok-Manok. The medium term, of course, is the rehabilitation of the main line from 200 millimeter pipes to 400. And it's a good thing that the PIWC is saying that instead of all the way to Manok-Manok, the immediate one is from Ambassador to the Crafts. That was also the commitment. Third is, of course, the illegal structures. And I asked him that maybe instead of just doing everything at one go, I suggested that all those structures that has no, on wetlands or forest land, that has no building permit, temporary in nature, and most of this is located at the back of Talipapa Bukid. All of this should be cleared so that we can immediately ease the burden of Boracay. Because in the first place, they have no building permits, they have no mayor's permit, and they're just operating illegally. These are mostly the dorms for our workers at the back. And of course, if for those who have building permits, they will have to go through the process why they are sitting on wetlands and forest land. On the easement, on the front beach, ito din ang hinihingi ni Secretary Simato, that the LGU Malay should execute an executive order to remove all the structures within the 25+5 easement. Because the executive order that is being used for West Cove is specific to West Cove. Until now, there is no executive order to remove all the structures within the easement area. If we can show that, that means that LGU Malay is serious in its support for the removal of the structures in the easement along the Long Beach. That was his request. And of course, the third is that we will be able to resolve the traffic problem. And I suggested several actions to reduce the traffic on the main road while the main pipe of PIWC is being constructed. We will put up a pontoon, and this will be done within the month. We have already the pontoon. We will put that at the end of, in front of Boracay terraces. You remember that it's a walkway in that area that was used before by Boracay terraces. We will put up a pontoon there for these summer months. And all the big resorts on the north with speedboats. And these are Discovery Shores, the Lynn, Fridays, all those speedboats will now use that pontoon. So that the vans that they have will not traverse again the main road and add to the traffic. So all of these hotels at the Ed North, including Crimson, including Mobile Peak, will now use that pontoon so that their vans will not anymore clog the main road. Second, we will have to remove all the all-terrain vehicles in the Mount Loho area, because this is also creating a traffic. And this should be when we went along that road with Secretary Simato, he saw all these all-terrain vehicles lining up, and it was slowly traversing the mountain. We cannot even move in that area. So the recommendation is remove all these all-terrain vehicles and bring them to the mainland so that they can have their own area in the mainland where the guests can use this, and it will even be more advantageous to our boatmen, so that these guests that use the all-terrain vehicle will not have to cross the island. It will be advantageous to our transport and this co-op, because they will be using these vehicles going to wherever the area that LGU Malay can identify for the all-terrain vehicles. That will immediately ease the traffic in that area, so that all those vehicles going to the north will have unimpeded access going to the north without disturbance from the ATV. In the first place, I could not understand why there is an ATV here in Boracay. So anyway, that's beside the point. But anyway, that has to be done. And we would like to ask the LGU Malay to maybe, because the permits were given by LGU Malay, is that correct, Ed? To revoke these permits so that we can ease the traffic along Mount Loho. If we can do this, then we can somehow construct the main sewer lines with the least disturbance. And also, what was recommended, I understand there is an ordinance from LGU Malay that limits the number of years of the tricycles. Tama ba, Dante? Meron kayo?
Vehicles, lahat na sasakyan, may limit up to 5 years. Then, papalitan na yun.
Okay. We would like to request the LGU to strictly implement this. The tricycles that are already over the limit or over age should be removed to the mainland. Why do I say this? Because it's critical that we can show to Secretary Simato that the sewage lines can be constructed while we are still doing business. Because their idea actually is close the island, put all of these improvements without interruption because there will be no tourists, and widen the roads from the present width to not the 15 that we all fear. It will be limited to 6 meters from center line. So that will open up the main road and all the other roads. But of course, that will also take time. So the compromise is the traffic should be resolved in such a way that while we are doing business, regular business, the construction of our sewage lines will also be done without interruption. So there should be a traffic management scheme how we can do this. And this can be coordinated with PIWC so that they can construct their sewage lines uninterrupted. So there should be a good traffic scheme for this. I would like again to request LGU to, nandito na pala yung island administrator, Rowan, we would like to request that this can be done also, the traffic scheme that can be done. So those were the main issues that we discussed for one whole day. And at the end, Secretary Simato said to me that if we can show to the President what can be done by us without closure, then he will recommend for this option B. Can you imagine? Option A is closure. What we are discussing here is only an option B. So you will know that option A is really closure. No question about it. But if we can first, as suggested by the Vice Governor, as an industry, appeal to the President for a non-closure clean up but non-closure, and with the help of the whole industry, if we can send a very clear message of what will happen to our workers, the displacement of our workers, how many thousands, because the count is 19,000 workers directly hired by hotels. But that is not including the boatmen, the tricycle drivers, the drivers, all the related industries of the tourism industry. So we will make that appeal, and I have asked Vice Governor Billy to do this, to craft this in such a way that we do not offend the President. Dapat appeal na that will not offend the President. Yeah. Because there were some industries before. I was told that when the President announced about closure of online gaming, that was the announcement before. When the industry gathered together, presented to the President that these are the workers in the game, online gaming that will be affected, he relented. He has a soft heart for the common tao, the workers who will lose their jobs. So do it in such a way that we can appeal to his sense of goodness. Because I'm sure if he sees this, he will relent. And the next thing that can best happen is if he asks Secretary Simato, can Boracay be rehabilitated, cleaned up without closure? Then Secretary Simato will have a concrete plan of action and present again to the President. Mr. President, these are the things that Boracay has done already. So that is the game plan that we are trying to implement. So I hope I made myself clear. No? First, drainage. We have to clean up. That is the #1 issue that faces us. Clean up the drainage, reduce the E. coli along Bolabong. Second, the sewage issue. Third, the illegal structures in the wetland, forest land, and in the easement. And fourth is how we manage our traffic, and that is why whoever knows the family of Villanueva Gross, is anybody here related to that family? Jupiter? Jupiter. Oh, I'd like to acknowledge Honorable S.R. Flores, the committee chair of tourism in the Sangguniang Palalawigan. Who can influence this family? Because I'm not joking, and this is very critical. Because if we cannot finish that section of the road, then how can we ease up the traffic here in the main road? Where's Jupiter?
Wala sa kalagom ko, ikaw sa Manangagan, nagawa.
Okay. We'll ask Honorable Jupiter to negotiate because okay. Vice, pwede kang magpatunga. Because the work is now pending, because the equipment is there, the contractor is there, yun na lang. If you can relay the urgency of the message to him or to her. So, and of course, the solid waste disposal, which is the least of our worries, as long as we reactivate the MRF. I will be talking to the mayor if, since I have taken over already the Palabag operations, if the mayor, LGU Malay, can now take over or can now implement the MRF system in Manok-Manok. That is very critical also, Ed, no? So that we can show to the DNR Secretary that we can reduce the waste We do not have to bring out all the waste of Boracay because the biodegradables, the non-biodegradables can be done here. Only the residuals will be brought to the mainland and the sanitary landfill. So I hope I'm quite clear, no, of the message of Secretary Simato. Secretary Simato is the one that is more inclined to implement this without closure. The other two are the hardliners, Teo and Secretary Ano. Secretary Simato is the voice of reason there. And the good thing is that, as per instruction of the President, he will only listen, to the recommendation of Secretary Simato. So, while Secretary Simato has already recommended closure, but there is still an opportunity for some change if we can do our share. We have to show to Secretary Simato that we are serious in implementing this. So those are the things that we have discussed. So again, drainage, para akong sirang plaka dito ha. Drainage, the sewerage, the solid waste, the structures, we need the executive order for that, the traffic. So those are the 4 major things that has to be addressed at the soonest possible time. For those violators, those connected, there are 2 water providers, Boracay 2B and BIWC. Boracay 2B was also asked, what is your method of treating your wastewater from your customers? And according to them, they have on-site STPs for their commercial establishment. That will have to be checked. And DNR has said that we will monitor. They have identified already the resorts, the commercial establishments that are not connected to the sewer lines. And if it is found out that these commercial establishments does not have the capacity to treat their wastewater, immediate closure will be issued. There is no more discussion. Closure of establishments that have no wastewater treatment for their sewage. Now, if now some commercial establishments under Boracay 2B has an STP and has a discharge permit from DNR, this will now have to be checked by the DNR on a regular basis. Not only monthly, but maybe weekly. And if it is found out that the discharge of these STPs do not conform to the standards of discharge water, they will be immediately be fined. At the minimum, 50,000 a day, and closure of your establishments until such time that you can show that you have now a waste treatment facility that conforms to the standard. So, commercial establishments, they have already inventoried this. As early as last month, they've already identified who are the establishments that are in violation. Some of you might have received already show cause orders. But the order is, if you're not connected to the sewer lines, then you have to present a proof of you have a water or a wastewater treatment on site of your water consumption. And this will be monitored on a regular basis. So that is as far as the commercial establishments are concerned. On the residential areas, the province has committed, and we're now working with the barangay captains, that they should inventory all the residential houses that do not have an STP. And the province is willing to put up the communal STP to be used by several residential houses. We will do now an inventory of this. We have actually engaged already an environmental expert, and actually they're doing now some negotiations, some talks with our areas, and that is the commitment of the province, because we cannot expect that these residential houses can immediately put up their own STPs or water treatment. So it will now be the province using our funds that will put up the STP, and hopefully the dislodging work, when you dislodge the solids from these STPs, will be given free by BIWC and Boracay Tubig. Tama ba yan? Libre ang dislodging, no?
Yung sa STP, sir, kasi yung wastewater nila is yung charge based on sa consumption of tubig.
Yes, yes. So that will be for the residential areas. So it's very, very important that these charges to the drainage should be standards of SP water. Boracay Tubig has to show that your STPs that discharges to the drainage should conform to the standards of DNR. Because if not, then you will also be penalized. I'm just very, very frank here, no? Because now is not the time to magbulahan pa tayo dito. This is a time that we should really be aware of our responsibilities. Boracay Water has already been issued a notice of violation. So they have answered this, and they have their own plan of action. Sa Boracay Tubig, yun. Because you have individual commercial establishments, you do not have a sewer line, so you have to show that your commercial establishments that you supply will have their own STPs. And when they discharge this to the drainage, because that's the only way you can discharge it to the drainage, then it has to be class SP. Kasi baka kayo yung dumadami yung coliform doon sa drainage because of your discharges. So you have to be very careful of your discharge to the drainage. So those are the things that we have discussed, and we are now open for discussion. I would like to ask also my partner, Congressman Marquez, some ideas how we can address this. I have this, how we can improve on what we have discussed with Secretary Simato in order to fast track the commitments that we have made with him yesterday. So, if you have any other questions, please do so after the speech of some words from Congressman Marquez. Thank you very much, and let's have a good day by complying. We have no choice. No? We really have no choice. Kung hindi, pass your paper tayo dito. Kasi, finish or not finish, pass your paper tayo dito. And I cannot just imagine the tremendous effect for you and for the province if we cannot do so, if we cannot correct these things that we have been asked to do. Yes, Mike?
Yung paano yung lumot din?
Okay. I forgot about the seaweed, the algae. Uh, I also talked to an environmental expert in Manila. I was also doing my homework because the algae is also a culprit on why Boracay is pictured as as dirty. The algae, for the longest time, when I was still very young then, that was maybe 50 years ago, we always had the algae. But the algae then were very light and just floats on the water and very green, light green, which actually does not disturb any swimmer. And this actually feeds the fish on the sea. But through the years, we have to admit this, that it has bloomed. We have now an algal bloom to what it is today. Dark green, thick, and sometimes slimy. The only explanation is that we are feeding nutrients to the algae coming from our discharges from whatever source. There is nutrients that feed the algae. But the thing is, we will be faced by this in the next month, March, April, May. And this is the most critical time when we have to show that our beach is clean, that the algal bloom is not there. Because however if we can cure our problem in Bolabo, and if we cannot do something about the algal bloom, then the media will again, have you seen the media when they show the algal bloom? That is what is always shown on TV. The algal bloom that dries up on the beachfront and floats on the beach. So we have engaged the expertise of one of the environmentalists in Manila who did a cleanup of Laguna de Bay. And it's a simple technology. There is a geobag. It's more of a screen that they use, and it can be configured to whatever raft or pontoon or whatever floater, and will now suck the water, including the algae, into the geobag. Water comes out, and only the algae remains. We will test this by the end of this week, because the equipments, it's a simple technology, no science, just a simple water pump that can suck the algae, bring it to the geobag, and the algae remains, and we can tow this away to wherever, the mainland or some of the area. It can even be used later on as fertilizer. So we're doing that. The technicians will be coming today, di ba, Niven? At 1 o'clock. And we will see what can be done as a platform. We have the pontoon, and part of that pontoon can be used for a platform where we can have the geobag, and we can easily do the cleanup of the beach by maybe before the end of the month. Secondly, in anticipation of this problem, last year we already allocated funds for the beach cleaning machine. We will have 2 beach cleaning machines, which will come in the next maybe by April, that will clean up the beach every morning, 1 on each side. These are the ones that are used in Hawaii, where they comb the beach, the sand, all the debris, including the algae that stays on the sand, can now be taken out. And it will now go from one end to the other every morning. So that by April and May, when the algal bloom is worst, we can somehow reduce the algal bloom to a minimum so that the TV networks will not show this again as, the thick algal bloom. So that is our immediate actions that we have done even before this crisis. We already anticipated that we have to have that beach cleaning machine, and we have ordered it, and it's now coming in time for this summer season. So I think I've said enough. I'll ask my colleague here, Congressman Marquez, because he has some ideas also on how we can answer these particular issues that was discussed by Secretary Simato. Kong?
Thank you very much, Governor. Our stakeholders in the island of Boracay, our provincial and municipal officials and barangay officials as well. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I volunteered actually myself yesterday to Governor Miraflores when I learned that there is a recommendation from Secretary of Department of Tourism as well as Secretary of the ILG regarding the temporary closure for what, 3 months? The period was not mentioned actually. So it disheartened me a lot to know that, or to learn about this news. Because for a while I was informed through the instruction of the President to Secretary Simato to clean up Boracay within 6 months. Otherwise, they will close Boracay. That was the fact that we are still holding up to now. How come that the DOJ and the ILG came out with a pronouncement that they're going to close Boracay without mentioning the name of Secretary Simato? So, at one point, everybody was talking about this is a wake-up call. But to me, this is not a wake-up call anymore. This is like a volcano that just erupted in what, at Mayo? Albay. And this is a tremor. Signal number 4. And so, as part of the management of Boracay 6 years ago, it disheartened me. I know that everybody here loves Boracay and is thinking about why the government is killing the ghost, that lays the golden egg. We admitted that the ghost now that lays the golden egg is not dying, but just ill. Maybe with the cancer of what? Number 1? Stage 1. Not really stage 4. Because otherwise that is not curable anymore. And listening to the solutions offered by our good governor, is curable. In fact, listening to his solutions, as long as we can solve this problem within 6 months, so there's nothing wrong. That is also the fact that I'm holding on until now. Because when I learned this pronouncement of the President giving instruction to Secretary Simato that within 6 months, I told myself, is it a fact or a bluff? In between, 50% fact and 50% bluff. Because really, if we cannot offer a solution within 6 months to clean up Boracay, then it becomes a fact. But analyzing the situation, we can still offer a solution or a mitigation to the goose that lays the golden egg in 6 months without closing Boracay. And I'm happy to learn that everybody is now in cooperation to do that. What are the three environmental laws that we are violating? What? The Clean Air Act? Not so much. Unless we does not solve our solid or environment or ecological solid waste management act also. Pero nasolve na raw eh. Diba? Nawala na yata yung tambak-tambak na basura dyan. And we are implementing the MRF. So, nasolve na yan. So, our problem now is the Clean Water Act. So let's focus all our solutions to that number one issue. And what is the number one issue? The sewer line. Now, we are talking about the drainage canal that was contaminated with the sewer or the sewer waste. Ang tanong ngayon is, halimbawa, itong ating sa Boracay Island Water, how many percent of the total establishments or hotels here are your customers and are connected to the sewer line? Because we are talking about connection to the sewer line, but is there a sewer line available in the area? That's a problem. Because in the beginning, we did not require all buildings to connect to the sewer line. But having said that, even if we have instructed them to connect to the sewer line, thus that building has a nearby sewer line. I know that almost all the streets here are not really provided with sewer lines. Only the canal or the, like for instance, in the mall area, they have only the drainage canal. All their septic tanks are connected to the drainage canal. This is situated between the mall and, ano yun sa? Red coconut. Andyan pa ngayon yan. And I think at one time, the provincial government of Aklan has provided a pumping station there. Hindi ko lang alam kung it's still operational. Because this is a concern, big concern, because yung sewer line, yung sewer discharge na yan na napukontaminate sa ating kanal na yan, drainage canal, ay napupunta sa beachfront. This is beachfront between Dimol nga at saka Red Coconut. We have to solve that immediately. And itong solution which I have offered directly to our representative here, which is our district engineer, regarding the immediate solution to that sewer line that discharges also, hindi pa yata, yun bang ating discharge sewerage waste dyan ay natitest din ng DNR? Yeah, so Boracay Island Water, natitest din. And it passes their discharge requirement.
Sir, I think you're referring po doon sa Red Coconut.
No, not the coconut. Yung ating sa likod. Where you discharge your waste.
Our discharge pipe for the STP is 800 meters away from
already,
the line.
800 meters.
Since before pa, sir. 800 meters na po yun. And it is being actually monitored by DNR. Actually, in fact, yesterday, nagpunta sila dun sa outfall mismo to get sample. And they're doing it na ano po.
Now, we have requested Boracay Water before to connect also yung sa between the mall and
ano
Red
po yun,
Coconut.
sir?
Na-connect na yun?
Drainage po yun. Opo. I remember it, sir, during your term as the governor. Nagawa natin yun, sir, na makonect yung drainage outfall to the network. Kaya lang nangyayari po is during heavy rains, hindi niya kayang accommodate. So during dry flow lang po yun. Sa ngayon sir, nakasara po yan. Ang in-install natin is actually may valve po dun eh. May valve po dun eh. Para po hindi siya maka-discharge even dry season. Kaya lang pagka po sobrang lakas ng ulan, kailangan po talaga siya mabuksan kasi yun po yung drainage canal na dumaan sa D-Mall area.
Hindi na ninyo kaya ngayon i-handle doon sa sewage treatment
Kasi
facility.
tubig ulan po kasi siya, sir.
Oo.
Ngayon, kailangan po makorek ng D-Mall na lahat na dapat ng kitchen, ng restaurants o ng kitchen waste nila, hindi mahalo doon sa drainage.
So okay na yun.
I think they're rectifying now, but still, ongoing pa po yung construction nila. But if you will look into their drainage canal po, there's still a mix
But
of...
we can solve that within 6 months period.
There's an existing na po na sewer line po din eh. So, kailangan lang i-correct ng establishments yung system nila na yung tubig ulan mapunta sa storm drain, yung wastewater mapunta sa sewer line.
Okay. But,
Kasi napag-mix po kasi siya
oh,
lang.
pero nasa jurisdiction pa rin ninyo yan because they are your customers, right?
Yes.
So it is their duty also, right?
We already provided guidance to the mall and also the rest of our establishments.
So within 6 months makukorek na yan.
May network na tayo, sir.
No, ang tanong is within 6 months makukorek. Ayan, good. So what we are discussing here is the immediate solution as offered by the governor that within 6 months, makorek natin. Parang mawala na yung issue na yun and we are in compliance with the directive of the President. That's what I mean. Now the issues about the 25 plus 5 meter easement, ay pwede namang sabihin natin na mag-appeal na lang tayo na meron kasing sitwasyon na nung araw, years ago, walang violation. Pero because of ang dagat ang lumapit sa istruktura, because of massive erosion due to what is termed as climate change, ayun ang problema. So pwede natin apila yan. And we have offered, I have written Secretary Simato to offer a solution which is called as beach nourishment to quarry back yung white sand na nawala due to erosion, which is also being done by all other countries with tourist destinations in Florida and even in Germany. They're doing that. So why not also do it here? Because these are precious sand, white sand, that was lost into the bottom of the sea precisely because of erosion. So pwede yan. Basta tulungan lang ng mga stakeholders, most especially those hotels in front that has a violation of the 25 plus 5 meters. So yun hindi naman pwede siguro isasara ating isla ng Boracay because of that. What is, I understand, and I still believe right now, is yung talagang madumi na sewer line. Sewerage treatment facility has to be improved. Precisely because at that time, when we put up that Boracay Island sewerage treatment facility na yan, the hotel rooms here was only about 5,000 rooms. Now, I understand it's about 16,500 rooms. So, triple. So, we have to improve also 3 times. And I understand you're doing that already. So very good. So I think, Governor, I think we are in the right situation. As long as all the stakeholders will now cooperate, please give the right of way for our concreting work for the Department of Public Works and Highways will now commence and complete that loop there. So, wala tayong problema. Pero kung hindi natin gagawin yan, hindi tayo magtutulungan, hindi tayo magbigay ng right of way, ay talagang makakaroon pa rin tayo ng problema. We have to preserve Boracay precisely because in our country, we have only 2 industries that would alleviate poverty, the tourism and agriculture. Nothing else. We are not an industrialized country. We are still depending on agriculture and tourism. And we are blessed that here in Aklan, we have no problem with tourism. Lumalagpas na tayo sa ating estimate. Ang estimate natin is only 1.5 million. We have established already what? 2.1? in 2017. So, the golden eggs are still there. Nagmo-multiply. Huwag na natin patayin yung ghost na yan. So sa tingin ko, this is the right moment. This is not, as I've said, not only a wake-up call, but ito'y talagang yug-yug call sa atin. And I'm happy that the governor, the provincial government, as well as the LGU of Malay, is now in the right situation to control the problem here, offer a solution to the problems existing. Thank you very much. Kasi wala naman akong magawa eh. Executive legislation, wala naman eh. Wala namang environmental laws na dapat i-amend eh. Except na meron akong in-offer waste to energy doon sa Clean Air Act amendment. Because the Clean Air Act ay hindi pwede ang incineration. You know that, di ba? Hindi pwede ang incineration. Eh paano tayo mag-generate ng energy from waste? How would we solve mountains of solid waste in Metro Manila kung hindi natin gagawin ng incineration? Tayo man natin, ang problema, lalo na ngayon sa Laguna Lake Authority, may problema rin ang DENR. Hindi na ma-solve ang garbage problem. Na pag umulan, nandoon ang mga basura na pupunta sa Manila Bay, sa Laguna Lake. And it's a problem. Lahat ngayon, sa hearing namin last month, 2 weeks ago, may problema rin ang Panglao, may problema ang El Nido, the same problem. Although they're, ang ating dito, magkano yung kanina, ilan yun? PPN, 15,000? Sa kanila, 7,000 pa na naman. Pero, exceeding already the limits as prescribed the DENR. Ang DENR natin, tulungan din natin. Kulang sila sa budget. Wala silang tao na nagmo-monitor. Hindi nagkaganito ito kung na-monitor nila ito eh. Di ba? Kung na-monitor lang nila yung mga discharges dyan, na bisitahan nila, hindi na nakaganito to. Kaya lang, tulungan din natin sila. Wala silang personnel. In fact, ang Sinro nga dito, a year ago was na-rehire na nila ang Sinro. Nawala yung Sinro dito eh. Ma-item. Naglagay sila ng Sinro ngayon. Pero kulang ng tao. Kulang sila ng equipment, laboratory equipment, to test the effluent. They have no chemist available actually. So kulang sila. But here again, our budget secretary will tell us, no, we are now going to downsize. Hindi downsize mo. The population is growing, the industry and tourism is growing. Now, ita downsize mo. How can you hire people if you downsize? And we are in violation of the Indo na yon. Ang sinasabi. That's why ngayon, di pinipirmahan ni Presidente yung Indo. Not a contractualization, but how can we do that? The number one violator of the contractualization is the government. Both the local government and the national government. In the capital, during my term, 1,400 regular items. Ang casual, 1,450. But it is the duty of the state to provide full employment to its constituents. Remember that. That would solve poverty. But here is a law to be passed into contractualization. But how can we do that? We are limited to fees of 45%, not more than 45% of the ERA or the revenue generated by the locality. So with that situation, I would like to congratulate Governor Miraflores that he is now on top of the situation. And I hope that all our stakeholders here will also cooperate. Please cooperate for the sake of your investments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congressman Dito, for sharing with us your insights on this impending problem that we have. At this point, let me call on Sir Ed Sancho also for the message of the municipality of Malay.
To the dignitaries of the presidential table, to the stakeholders, and to the friends and other interested parties in this conference, good morning. It is very intimidating after the 2 seasoned politicians have spoken, and you will be asked also to speak. But just afford me the opportunity to inform everybody that the LGU Malay is not sleeping. You know, as a backgrounder, as early as November 10, 1978, President Marcos has already projected that this problem will arise. That's why he issued proclamation number 1801, declaring the island of Boracay as a tourism zone and a marine reserve, and putting it under the control and supervision of the PTA. And no project can be initiated in the island without the recommendation of the PTA and approval of the President. So kung nasunod na lang sana yun, baka hindi na natin inabot ang kalagayan natin. But nevertheless, let's just make use of our time to solve the problem as best as we could. Sa issue ng basura, if you remember all, medyo nasita tayo noon dahil nagtambak ang basura sa manok-manok centralized MRF. The reason to that, it's because of budgetary constraint, the weather, and the personnel that takes care of the management of the municipal solid waste. So, nevertheless, with the contributions of everybody, and we are thankful for that contribution, we were able to get rid of the mounting garbage in the span of 22 days. And I think it has also contributed to the confirmation of the Secretary Simatu, and the mayor was able also to get a little recognition. So it can be done. And we realize and come to a conclusion the lesson that we have learned. You cannot put in the hands of the government a 24/7 activity because of bureaucratic red tape. Kung maplatan ang ating garbage truck, hindi ka basta-basta makakabili ng replacement nila. Kung abstinent ka ng mga operators mo, madidiskaril ang serbisyo mo. So after that, I have asked the Mayor, sa dami ng mga advices na nare-receive natin sa iba't ibang sectors, sino ba ang ididemanda kung halimbawa pumalpak tayo? Sabi ni Mayor, di tayo na lang mag-decide kung paano ito gawin. Total, tayo rin lang ang magiging responsible persons for the outcome. So, we initiated a move to privatize yung garbage collection namin. Because you cannot mix environmental issues with politics. Dapat kasi, dyan sa ecological waste management, mga intelligenteng taong ilalagay mo. Hindi yung mga political appointees. Kasi babaho tayo niyan. Masyadong sensitive ang issue ng pagdala ng basura. In fact, you really have to get experience and experts on this field that you have to pay the price. Otherwise, daw siya ang performance ng LGU dyan or whoever wish to do it. So we are going to privatize, and I think next week we're going to start it the way it should be done. Second, on the issue of bio-waste, the usual suggestion or system that is included in the Republic Act 2003 or Ecological Waste Management cannot be applied in the island of Boracay because this is a tourism zone. Hindi kailangan mangamoy, hindi kailangan magtambak. That's why we have to bring the waste to the mainland para zero waste dito for the tourists to enjoy the ambience and atmosphere of the island. And that's what we are going to do. So, we enlisted and talked with the Ayala group of companies who is willing to invest more than 1 billion pesos to address the bio-waste using the anaerobic, or ibig sabihin, walang oxygen, digestive system that would eat all the waste, including the sludge of Boracay water. And I think it is a major technical intervention that we need in order that our solution would remain viable and practical. And we have been exploiting this silently. And I think it will just come out sooner or later, our proposal. As you can read in the newspaper, we enlisted the services of Palafox to draw the master plan of Boracay. Sa PTA dapat ang gumawa nito eh. So, the very plan that Palafox is going to produce is also being used by the national government in addressing the problem of Boracay. And I hope next week, all of you, the stakeholders, will attend or accept our invitation for you to attend the conference that we are going to have with Palafox and Associate for the Master Tourism Plan of the island and of the mainland. I would like also to thank you, the Governor, for the various activity that he is going to undertake. But I propose that he should appoint an action man para yung budget natin hindi mag-overlap sa isa't isa. Because the national government will also come up with a budget para ma-make over ang Boracay. And we might be allocating our scarce resources when they have in fact funds for these projects. So, paghatian na lang natin kung ano ang trabaho sa probinsya ba o sa munisipyo. And we are willing to do that. At this point of time, nabanggit nga ni Governor yung 25+5, we have already started doing it. In fact, Mr. Ruen Aguirre is the most hated man in Boracay now because of the dismantling that he has initiated. And he could, until to this day, he continues to do it. And we will continue to do it until everybody has conformed to the laws of the municipality. And we will only be asking for your cooperation because all of this will lead down to the benefits of the stakeholders. On issues of illegal connection and drainage, you will notice na tutis ni SB Graph ay medyo tana dahil because of the exposure to the sun. Because she personally watch over the activities of our engineering department in opening the drainage and to find out if there are illegal connections. We have started this and we are still continuing doing it up to this day. And we are reallocating or reassessing our supplemental budget by waiting for the announcement of what would be the master plan of Palafox to be adopted by the national government and what would be the projects that the local government unit should devote itself so that all of our projects, national, provincial, and local, is consolidated to the point that it will be very effective because all of us will be concentrated in sharing our services with them. You should remember that the local government code was created in order for us to be able to do our job economically, efficiently, and effectively by sharing each other's responsibility. Kailangan lang mag-usap-usap lang tayo. Sana after this seminar, tuloy pa rin ang usapan ng probinsya, tuloy pa rin ang usapan ng LGU at ng national government sa ikabubuti ng Boracay at ng Municipality of Malay. Good morning to all of you.
Thanks, Sir Ed, for updating us on the LGU's initiatives regarding the issues at hand. At this juncture, we'd like to call back on the floor our consultant for tourism and trade, Ma'am Billy Caliso-Quimpo, to give us the wrap-up and the next steps for this activity.
Good morning once again. We've listened to the governor, the congressman, and the municipal administrator. As I said earlier, in the beginning, I established the intent of this emergency meeting, if I may call it. And the objective really is to make a concerted effort in response to the announcement of the three agencies, DNR, DOT, and the ALG, recommending closure for at least a year of the island of Boracay. So let us focus on how to address this problem. The governor has, if I may summarize it, is made a proposal to the Secretary of DNR, who apparently is a major player in this decision, which is to be, well, as the governor said, it's more or less already accepted by the president. But there is still room or a window to appeal to the president if he will reconsider, if we can do those measures. First, the solid waste management, of which the governor proposed to bring it back, the materials recovery facility, to the respective barangays, meaning the 3 barangays. Just listening to the municipal administrator, it seems that the proposal of the governor and the plan of the municipality has to be reconciled, because the municipality is saying that the plan is to centralize the garbage collection and privatize it and barge it out right away of the out of the island, because in their opinion, it's the faster way to clean up the garbage of the island. But I believe that in our law on solid waste segregation management, that the MRF is supposed to be a responsibility of each barangay, and that it is even best if you can afford to do it through CTUs, as stated by the Senator Lauren Ligarda, who is the author of this Republic Act. So the idea is really segregation at source and recycling it, so that what has to be barged out to be put in the landfill in the mainland would only be the residual. So if you have to strictly follow the law, that would be the process. Now, these are two, it seems like these are two conflicting solutions. No? So I guess it has to be reconciled. Now, the sewer lines, I think that was exhaustively explained. and the structures, those violators that are sitting on wetlands and forest land, and also, of course, the easement, 25+5, and also from the road, which should be at least 6 meters from the center line. And what are the others? Basically, those are the major points. Our suggestion now, to be able to make that appeal to the president, because it seems like the information we have is that the implementation of the proposed closure is already within the next month or so. We do not anymore have the time. So the proposal is to come up with an appeal, like an open letter to the president, citing the devastating effect to the tourism industry, not only of this province, but also nationwide. And that the thousands of workers who will be affected because they will be deprived of income from work. And all the other issues, of course, of the business, the owners of establishments here, but we should not really focus on all those because it might sound as if we are only after the economic gains of each one of us here. So my suggestion after hearing the proposal of the governor is to also put, make a commitment at the end, together with appeal, that we will, as an industry, commit ourselves to implement all these mitigating measures within a certain period. And the organizations, the LGU Malay, and the provincial government, the various tourism organizations in Boracay and in the mainland Aklan will affix their signatures and commit, and if possible, all the establishments here. So the president is assured that we are dead serious about putting our 2 cents worth in saying that we are with him in rehabilitating this island. So that's the immediate step or course of action that we can take. And this is now put on the table for each of you, stakeholders, to evaluate if you want to take this course of action as an industry, all together, that we are united, including the LGU. Now, the treatment of the solid waste management will have to be discussed again between the provincial government and the LGU Malay. But that should be part of the appeal, which is in the form of an open letter to the president, and that will be placed on major dailies, with the commitment of the members of the industry in Aklan. And we will also write to the major tourism associations for them to also endorse our appeal. And they will only endorse if they're also assured that we are committed to really support the environmental rehabilitation plan. So, yun ang that is what we would like to discuss here now. We have draft appeal, no, or manifesto. But these are only ideas which we can all look at, or maybe we can appoint a representative from whoever you want, and after this meeting we'll sit down and discuss and make the draft. Because what we would like to do now is to present the president to justify to the president that the rehabilitation can be done without closing the island, and that pronouncements of imminent closure is not helping the tourism industry, because apparently some of you called the provincial capital and reported that there are already cancellations of charters, and that during the ITB Mart in Berlin, there were already major operators who were quite rethinking whether to include Boracay, because they are not sure of the future of the island, whether it will be closed or not. So either way, we are losing, no? It's really affecting the image of the island. So what we want to do now is to arrest this problem. Kumbaga nga, ika nga is, hold the bull by its horn, and address the problem right now. So what do you think? We would like now to solicit the opinion of the stakeholders, whether it is correct to make an appeal to the President in a form, one open letter, citing our reasons, and also citing the mitigating measures that would be doable in the next, say, 3 months to 6 months, and that the entire community of Boracay and the province and the LGUs are united to implement those measures, and we will all sign. And if the President will accede, we would like to seek an audience with the President, so we can present it to him personally, apart from publishing it in major dailies, so that our suppliers, no, of business in Boracay will have some assurance. Mas mabilis ito, no, to quash the doubts in the minds of tour operators kung ano talaga ang mangyayari sa isla, what's going to happen to the island. So may I now throw the could you please introduce yourself, your name, and your establishment?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Michael Aragon. I am the chairman of Clean Air Philippines Movement, which is a national multi-sector environmental organization with broad partners globally, internationally, doing environmental work. As an Ilonggo myself, although I'm based in Manila, I was invited by friends here in Boracay to observe and study the possibility of how our organization, including our global partners, can help the LGU Malay and probably the province of Aklan in this problem that you are being faced with at this point in time. So I listened a while ago to the identification of the problems that our good governor and our good congressman, including our city administrator or municipal administrator in Malay, has narrated, which is around 4 to 5 points. No? On the second point that our governor, our congressman, and our administrator will say, the point on sewerage and waste treatment plants na nakikita natin sa problema ngayon. Immediately, not yesterday, not tomorrow, because ang problema is now, immediately, our organization, including our partners abroad, can cause to deploy portable wastewater treatments here in Boracay that could, one, help first Boracay water with their problem of their Balabag waste treatment plant because it's overloaded and they still have to connect this to Manok-Manok. We can easily deploy portable STPs there so that habang inaayos nila itong problema, maayos natin yung araw-araw na wastewater problems. And even the solution of our good congressman about communal wastewater treatment, we can also deploy this. But this is not the good news actually. Our good news is we're going to do this as an advocate at no cost to the government. This is a temporary solution that we are now looking at. I was here yesterday upon the invitation of our friends here. And we've been discussing things, and we would like to do a thorough scientific and feasibility study of what really is the situation, and so that we can scientifically also make and suggest solutions, long-term, environmental sustainable solution for the island of Boracay. Because the island of Boracay is not only a gem for the entire Ilonggo-speaking people of which I am part of. I grew up here. But this is a gem for the entire country. And we should protect Boracay at all costs. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Unsolicited ito. This is from the private advocacy groups, including our international partners, who have been doing this also in Africa, in Asia, United States, and Europe. The technology is very solid. And hindi ito usap-usapan. As I speak, nangyayari itong mga technology na ito. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aragon. The province and the municipality of Malay are very appreciative and most grateful for your help. Tingnan mo lang. I'm sure there are more good souls who are ready to help the island. Any more reaction or any suggestion to the proposed open letter, Mr. Tirol?
Good morning to everyone here. No? In line with what we are trying to show or communicate to the President of our problems here, I think, like a petition, I would suggest that the petition should be done individually by different associations here. Instead of just having one and all signs. No? So at least the President could see, that this petition coming, let's say, from the via Boracay Island Hopping, from BCCI, BFI, they will all be compiled and then there will be covering letter from the province. So at least the President will more or less see the sentiments of the associations that will be affected by this closure. Anyway, we only have one line. No? It is no to closure, and we are all for rehabilitating the island. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tirol. We can still do that. and present it if the President will agree to see us. No? But we believe that an open letter to the President would have a greater impact. But in support of that open letter, we can all individually write to the President, I mean the individual organizations that will even convince him more. So okay yon, pwedeng lahat, pwedeng gawin din yon. What about the others? Any reaction to the proposal of the governor? Kasi yung pinopose ni governor at kung ano man yung mapag-usapan nila ng LGU Malay on how to reconcile the solid waste management process, yun ang lalagay natin sa commitment natin, sa sulat in our open letter to be signed by the province and LGU Malay and all the stakeholders, including Boracay Water, Boracay Tubi, and so that whatever we discuss here, and if we commit to support this, nobody could say, di naman ako I did not commit, I did not sign. So if you are all willing to sign and commit, then we will do that open letter, so we will be accountable. No comment? So, Mr. Johnny Salme, former president of BFI.
Good morning, everyone. I think sa palagi ko yung open letter, napaka-importante yan, no? Kasi kailangan natin immediate action. Remember na yung ating ginagawa ngayon ay no to closure, but yes to fixing Boracay. So anong move natin? So one move, ito suggestion nila ng probinsya, na magkaroon tayo ng i-appeal natin sa Pangulo na ayaw natin ng closure ng Boracay. Maybe there are some other options, but not closure. No? Tuloy-tuloy ang rehabilitation, tuloy-tuloy ang pag-ayos, ngunit kung maaari, walang closure. So katulad ng suggestion ni Bob kanina, na maglalagay ng ponton doon sa kabila, at kung 24/7 ang construction ng pag-ayos ng drainage, baka pwede natin na-suspend muna yung 1 entry, 1 exit, gamitin natin ang station 1, 2, and 3, plus the other one option in the north, no? Yung ponton. But by then, tuloy-tuloy yung pagdating ng turista, ngunit tuloy-tuloy din yung pag-rehab natin ng ating kali and drainage system. So sa ganung paraan, phase by phase, baka pwede natin magawa yung rehabilitation without closing the island of Boracay. Ang pangalawa po, yung nag-declare si Pangulo na sinasabihan, sispool tayo, dahil ngayon sa pipe na lumalabas sa Bulabog. Yun ang naging basis, sinasabi na yun naging basis sa ang main problem natin, yung maybe violation sa Clean Water Act, at ang pipe na yan, nandiyan pa rin hanggang ngayon. So habang tinitignan natin yung problema, instead naghanap tayo ng solution, maraming problema kung pasok, may mga iba-iba. Hindi tayo nakafocus lalo sa pinaka-problema na yung sispool sa Bulabog. So ano ba nangyari doon sa pipe? Hanggang ngayon, nandyan pa yung pipe. So what shall we do? Ang sinasabi nga ni Bob kanina, dapat action. Ano yung dapat action natin? Siguro, ang isang proseso dyan, kasi nakikita natin, madumi pa rin yung umaakos. So anong action na ginagawa natin na talagang immediate action? So siguro, isang suggestion niya, baka yung kay Doc na idea would be very helpful. Na bago lalabas sa beach yung tubig na yan, treated na siya, malinis na siya, or pwede natin i-divert yan doon sa lake siguro na habang na doon mo na mag-settle down, bago lalabas sa Bulabog ay malinis na treated na siya. So siguro may paraan. At least may ginagawa tayo ng paraan kung paano malinis yung tubig na lalabas sa Bulabog. So yun siguro ay mga ideas, no? I-focus lang natin sa nagiging problema natin. ang naging problema na nakita ng Presidente yung tubig na madumi na lumalabas sa Boracay, sa Bulabog area. At alarming, no? Dahil yung study nagsasabi na lalong tumataas yung coliform count. So, napaka-importante na bigyan natin ng action. Bakit tumaas? So, harapan ng solusyon.
Thank you. At meron lang akong i-release na point. Is there a possibility for that pipe which stretch 800 meters to the sea to be extended further? I understand that the commitment before was a little bit longer than 800 meters.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yung 800 meters outfall is for the sewerage lines. It's okay. It is beyond the reef already. What is the problem are the drainage lines in the beach of Boracay that shows its discharge in the beach of Boracay. So I agree with Johnny that just focus on the immediate problem first. Focus that in the next few weeks we solve that problem of the pipe by cleaning up the drainage together with LGU Malay. Whoever will volunteer, the IWC or Boracay Tubig can also volunteer to clean up that drainage line, disconnect all the illegal connections so that the discharge on Bulabog Beach will be already class SB water, meaning it is in the standards of below 400 parts per million in Ecolite. Imagine the standard is 400 and the latest count is 18,000. 18,000 parts per million in Ecolite. So it means that establishments, including residential houses, are discharging their waste in the drainage. Wala na tayong pag-usapan na nagdi-discharge talaga yung ating mga ibang kasama. So how to disconnect this, how to clean it up, disconnect all these illegal connections is a priority for all of us, for LGU Malay and LGU Aklan. So that, yeah, that's the discharge. That's the old discharge. Okay. So, let's focus first on the drainage issue. Yeah. That goes out of Bulabog Beach.
This is about 2 weeks ago, nung pinuna namin yung retrato. And yung isa na yun, ito yung may sa may Laguna ni Boracay.
Can you explain, Mike?
Yeah. Okay, ito yung sa Laguna Boracay, malapit yan doon. And then,
Can you explain?
mahirap ba yung boses?
Mahirap boses pa.
Mahirap ba?
Okay, this area is in Laguna de Boracay, very close to that area. Then another pier. Meron pa isa, yung karugtong niya. Ito pa, this is connected to that area, no, sa Laguna de Boracay. And then go ahead. So this is the area near yung sa Red Coral going to Mount Luho. Go ahead. Sige pa, Pia. Sige pa. And this is disconnected also. This only one pictures, another one. More. Sige pa. Okay, this is in hangin. Huh? They have 2 PVC pipe. The old one, the metal, they remove it already. So this is the one. And this is the one that they have about 3 years ago that you can see it in the video. Go ahead. Sige ba? Sige ba? More. Okay, this is in Seven Stone area. Look at the water is not it's not black anymore. So go ahead. This is 2 weeks ago. Sige, sige, sige ba? And this is one picture also. So if you can see those dark area down there, it's almost about 50 meters to 100 meters. That is the seagrass area, which is they absorb all the pollution in that area, in Bulabog area. So go ahead. So this is the PVC. That's the one in the pictures 2 years ago, and then another one. Sige ba? Sige ba? And this is the one also. Go ahead. Go ahead. And this is connected to that one picture, another one. Sige ba? Sige ba? Mahaba. Yo, okay, this one. This is the two main pipe that the video 3 years ago. Okay? So if we want to remove this, well, it's easy to remove. Oh, pwede natin tanggalin talaga yan in this one. But of course, the environment department. So I took these pictures about 2 weeks ago. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mike, for the initiative, so that our stakeholders will appreciate the urgency of this problem, and you have identified the pipes that are in question. So, Doc, you have something to contribute?
Good morning. Comment lang po, no? We're talking about the law, and the law that is right now being discussed is the Philippine Clean Water Act. Under the Philippine Clean Water Act, it is illegal to discharge any kind of water into the open sea unless treated siya. Okay? So, para hindi tayo mawala sa sustainable environmental solutions that our good governor, our good congressman, and our municipal administrators trying to do. Although immediate ito, we need the immediate solutions. No? We also have to respect the law. Okay? Now, as a stopgap contribution, our organization, the Clean Air Philippines Movement Incorporated, or CAPMI, has an inventory of resources coming from our local partners, but more so our international global partners. One of those included in the inventory is wastewater treatment plants. Not only one, but these are containerized STPs that we can deploy in any point of Boracay, including this drainage of yours. But this is temporary. Habang inaayos natin yung long term. Now again, I would like to say the good news at no cost to the government. Kasi po kami, hindi kami negosyante. We are an environmental advocacy group from the Philippines, from ng mga sama namin yung mga United Nations and all these things. We're doing this. So, although Clean Air Philippines kami, hindi lang po hangin ang gusto namin ayusin sa Pilipinas. The environment as a whole, and even yung puso natin lahat para maging malinis. We want a clean Boracay because Boracay is the Philippines' gem. And when we say Boracay, Boracay is in the Philippines. So, kami po, bilang advocates, gusto lang namin tumulong. And marami tayong mga kaibigan na mga foreigners who also would like to help us. Ito lang po. Pero ito lang po, this is a stopgap thing. This is not permanent. We can deploy these STPs. No? Even in Boracay water, we will not, hindi namin kayo singilin. As long as you need this, habang inaayos ng wastewater treatment facilities, papahiram po namin sa inyo. At no cost to Boracay water. Until na maayos na yung problema niya. Then, ayos na yung role namin dito sa Boracay, di magpapakasyon na lang kami dito, enjoying the clean environment. And we will invite our global partners to come over. makabakasyon and see what they have done and contributed to Boracay. A gem to the Philippines. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aragon. No? Question, how fast can you deploy?
A few weeks, probably, a month. Pero Bob, gagawa po kami muna ng actual study and assessment. Kailangan namin ayusin talaga kasi mahirap yung nag-a-assume. We need to know the statistics, we need to know the facts, the situation. Kasi sa ngayon, naririnig na namin Bob sa inyo, personally, na ganito pala yung mga situation, may 5 points ka na gustong ayusin. And yung second point mo, doon kami siguro effective, which is the sewerage and the wastewater treatment process. But this is just a stopgap thing na ino-offer ng Clean Air Philippines movement until the time na maayos nyo permanently yung problema. Pahirap lang po kami dito.
Yes, thank you very much. No? We're happy, I'm very appreciative of your offer. No? But since you are still studying this, and you need time to assess and time to deploy, actually our timetable is very, very short. And the only, I know that it is illegal to discharge unless it's treated. But the drainage system, which is the responsibility of the OTTS, has not really been properly implemented. So the long term, they have a long-term solution already. They will put up a drainage system with treatment and will pump this out 1 kilometer to the sea. But that is in the pipeline for the next 2 years. My concern is, how can we clean up that drainage canal immediately and only allow if we can get all the illegal connections so that only storm water, only rainwater flows to the drainage. No wastewater, nothing. So that we can immediately address this, because as I've said, we're pressed for time because the timetable that was given to us is really very, very short.
Yes, Gob. Gob, actually, the solutions is right now in the table. Just implementing all these things that you're suggesting. Yung first concern nyo, how can we stop the dumping sa floodwater drainage? Nandun na eh. The government of Malay, the governor of Aklan is now doing things para ma-stop, including the cooperation of the stakeholder, para ma-stop yung dumping, yung illegal connection po. Ngayon, yung resources na to, these STPs that I'm saying, it's available now in the Philippines. We can deploy it. No? Pero sabi nga namin no, we have to do the study first para eksakto, hindi tayo nanghuhula. No? Now, maybe to hasten the study, we can ask the LGU Malay, the province of Aklan, to help us. Maybe we can send a team next week of engineers and experts dito to go around the whole island. Tingnan natin, is as early as Monday, we can send people here ready to Boracay and do the service and everything. Pero the most important thing na kailangan natin para ma-hasten up itong process of studying, the feasibility study. Kung may mga basic information and data na yung LGU Malay and province of Aklan that you can share with us, para hindi na namin ulitin yun, no? I think mas madali yung study namin and mas mabilis yung deployment of these temporary SPPs.
Okay. Can we ask Mr. Duran here, because they have, I think, the data already, and we'll listen after that to our President Nanette for her comments.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gob. So really good noon to everyone. Actually, the National Task Force Boracay, no, is all over the island. Simply to look into the situations of Boracay. We started So really 1 month that we are gathering the information. But I would like also to support kung anong ginagawa kayo ng Task Force Boracay. Una, tinitingnan natin lahat ng sitwasyon. Okay, number 1, sabi nga, there is now a carpet mapping ongoing in the entire island. We subdivided the island into 6 parcels. The Yapak, East and West, Balabag East and West, and Manok-Manok East and West. So titingnan how we are doing the carpet mapping. First, we wanted to validate the information presented to us by ni Sir Ruben. Una, we're looking into the number of households and establishments. Sabi nga natin, we wanted to look into this. We're looking into the population. Third, we're looking into the establishments, commercial, industrial, and residential. The next items that we're looking into, ilan ba yung permanent, ilan yung semi-permanent, and temporary. Then, we're looking into those connected sa sewage, those septic tanks, and those basin din lang. Mayroon yan, naka-record. So, sinabdivide namin, sino yung doon sa forest lands, sino sa wetlands, sino doon sa 30 meters na easement, and sino sa alienable and disposable land. So, we have already the data. Pare, tinitingnan na namin ng data, makikita na natin kung paano. So that later on, the government should be guided by its actions. So, medyo napupuno na, alam na rin namin kung sino yung commercial establishments na hindi connected sa sewage. Ang probably practicing septic management, may septic tank. Baka wala pa ako nakita sa area ko na mayroong STP. But already we have to look into that. We are na analyzing our reports sa ngayon para later on. Medyo tactical ang operations at saka very specific ang ating actions later on. If we have to issue show-cause orders for those within the forest land, within the wetlands and the 30 meter assessment, meaning we are assured that nandoon talaga sila sa loob. Pangalawa, in-obis, notice of violations. For those nga ma-issue ng in-obis, alam natin na ano ba yung na-violate. Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, 9003. But actually, these are the things we wanted to establish. Okay, pero sabi nga ni Gob kanina, ano bang issues? Actually, mayroon din akong 5 issues dito sa Boracay. Una, sinasabi nga natin, itong issues ba ay totoo o hindi? Is this true or false? Tingnan natin maigi. Una, number 1, we're talking na masikip na yung Boracay. Totoo ba hindi? Posibleng totoo, posibleng hindi. Saan yung masikip at alin yung masikip? Okay, kung titingnan maigi, if you are talking of masikip na ang Boracay, you're talking of 2 things. We are talking of your population and you are talking of your structures. And this is equals to carrying capacity. Saan ito nangyayari? So, sa Balabag at saka sa part na Manok-Manok. Okay, number 1 din tingnan maigi yan. Kasi dyan ang problema Pangalawa, ang sabi nila traffic. Saan ang traffic? Saan ang traffic? Sa Balabag at saka portion ng Manok-Manok. Ano yung traffic? Bakit nagta-traffic? Marami na bang tricycle? Marami kayong e-trike? Marami ba kayong multicab? O yung inyong PUG? Palagay ko, kulang. Kasi ako, 30 minutos ako nag-antay sa Kakbang bago ako makasakay papunta ng office ng Sinro. Ibig sabihin, kulang. Ano yung nagparami? Tingnan nyo mayroon kayong policy dito na ang hotel na mayroong 50 rooms entitled to 1 service vehicle. Tingnan nyo yan. Kung mayroon kang almost 500 rooms sa hotel, you are entitled to 10 service vehicles. Tingnan nyo Second, for those na nagninegosyo rito, yung mga estudyante, yung maliliit na negosyante, mayroong isang tricycle na service. Mayroon din multi-cab na service. Kasi yun ang delivery morning and afternoon. Tingnan maigi yan. So kung yan ang titingnan natin, yun ba sumisikip sa daan? Huwag na nating sabihin na masikip yung kalsada because yung kalsada, doon yun na talaga. Let's give in. Marami dyan, kumikinto, maraming nagko-construct. Kaya, sagabal sa daan. Pero i-review natin. Kasi later on, we will take up our actions. Okay, pangatlo, sabi nila baha sa Boracay. Totoo bang baha? Kung mag-ulan, baha. Correct. Bakit baha? Saan ang baha? You're talking of your Balabag and portion of your Manok-Manok. May baha ba doon sa Tipak? Diba? So, tingnan maigi. Kung baha ang titingnan, you're talking of drainage. May iban pa ba? Mayroon pang iba. So, sabi nga ni Governor, problema drainage. Correct yan. So, tingnan natin may drainage. Pangatlo, may amoy na yung Boracay. Correct. Nangangamoy. Ang nangangamoy is sewer. Number 1. Number 2 is yung basura. Diba? So, kung tingnan mo, ang panglima, ang sinasabi natin, marumi yung tubig ng Boracay. And you are talking to your blue-green algae. Yun, yung beachfront. Yung green ngayon, nandiyan na yung algae, dumating na. No, pinapatayin namin na, namantik, wala pa. Ngayon, nandun na. No, lalo sa portion ng area doon sa manok-manok. Makapal na dito, hindi pa masyado. So, kung sinasabi natin blue-green algae, yun ang sinasabi ni Presidente na si Paul because yung nakita, blue-green algae. Totoo. Sabi nga ni Gob kanina, it's a natural phenomenon. Pagdating ng summer, mayroon talagang algae. Kasi si Kong ay sabi na, ay, natural phenomenon. Yun na kinokontes nyo. Very correct. Kasi pag uminit, talagang magkakaroon ng blue-green algae. All throughout the Philippines. So, even sa world, mayroong blue-green algae. Kasi pagkain ng isda yan eh, at saka ibang mga buhay dagat. But the question here in Boracay is that, kung ang algae natin noon, ay sabi na tayo na 10 tinulada. Ngayon, kung nagkaroon na ng 50 nga tinuladas, may problema. Why? The volume nag-increase, nalumubo. Because, number 1, siguro nagtitrigger yan, phosphate, nitrite, nitrate, ammonia. So saan ang gagaling yon? Diba? Sa atin, we are talking of the quality of our water. Kasi yun ngayon ang upapalago doon sa ating algae. So, this is science. How to do that? Sabi nga ganun, dito kasi pumapasok yung science and common sense. As the student of management, ito walang dalawa tandaan. The science and the common sense. Science na nasasabi natin na nagtitrigger yung volume ng algae. Pero, kung paano i-address common sense? Kailangan pa ba natin na pabayaan yan? Alam natin doon na medyo nakakadiri talaga pagka, di ba, naliligo ka na dito lahat yung mga algae sa ulos, tinga, dito. Dali lang yun eh. Sabi nga ni Gob kanina, baking lang yun eh. Lahat ng resort sa front page, lahat ng resort, everyday, tuwing umaga, 2 tao lang, alas 4 hanggang alas 6, kunin lang yung algae, ilagay lang doon, o ibaon dyan sa lupa. Bakit? Yan ang nagre-replenish ng white sand ng Boracay. Hindi pa nyo natistingan. Ako, dinala ko yan doon sa Iloilo. Binilad ko. Dried. Pagkatapos, after a week, ginanyan ko. Saan? Pinakita ko sa Regional Ecotourism Committee. Sabi, huwag nyo itapon kung saan. Lagay lang nyo doon. Ipunin. So that kung matuyo, magiging sand siya. Diba? So, para hindi masyado kumapal, kunin. Ano na 2 tao everyday. No, housekeeping yun eh. Housekeeping lang yun. That's common sense. Hindi na kailangan i-traktura pa natin yung dagat na yan para makuha yun, di ba? It's just speaking lang. So, solve yung problema natin. Ibig sabihin, hindi immediate. Sabi nga natin, mapakita natin kay Presidente. Okay, sa masikip, ito lang yung aking proposal. Titingnan. So, nag-study ngayon ng carrying capacity. Tama, okay. Isang question lang is nasabi, ilan na ba ang rooms natin? Hotel rooms and hostel sa Boracay Island? Wala makasagot. Ilan ang tourist? Sabi na, mayroong 6,000 to 10,000 overtime. Ilan ang number of rooms? Ay, nung una, pagpunta ko rito, pagka-peak season, no vacancy. Ngayon, kahit super peak, mayroong vacancy. Anong ibig sabihin? Hindi na kaya punuin natin ang ating mga hotels. Ang tanong ngayon, shall we still allow the construction of hotels in the island of Boracay? Kung ang question carrying capacity. Try to think of that. It's a decision that should be made for this island to be a premier tourist destination. Kailangan pa ba? Kung kini-question nyo ang carrying capacity, mag-hotel pa ba tayo? 5-star hotel, 3-star. Ano pa ba yan? Yan ang desisyon. Pangalawa, kung susobra yung ating traffic, kasi long term kasi yung kalsada eh. Sa ngayon, i-suspend muna may franchise. I-review nga yung mga number of vehicles dito sa loob. Ha? I-reduce ang number ng mga service vehicles sa mga hotels na yan. Napa-apply sa ruta, tingnan natin kung hindi ma-decongest yung traffic dyan. Di ba? Hindi tayo nagsasabi na i-close yung Boracay, pero sabi natin, i-address natin yan. Drainage, sino ang tao doon sa drainage? Who shall be responsible for that? The local government, at saka GISA, di ba trabaho nila yan? Bakit pa yung iba? Tulungan natin ngayon yung mga establishment na nandoon sa dadaanan ng drainage. Di ba? Sila ang responsable. They have really to fix that drainage. Ano ang walang gawin? Alam naman natin kung saan ang existing Alam naman natin kung saan ang functional. Alam naman natin kung saan ang hindi. Yung Laguna de Boracay, kung tayo yung hindi functional yun. Di ba? Drainage rin niya ang outfall. Ibig sabihin pag drainage, tubig ulan lang ang dadaan dyan. Huwag yung sewer, huwag yung wastewater. Kasi yung wastewater, tatakbo yun sa sewerage ni DIWC. Diba? Pag sabi nga natin na 11 million liters per day yung lumalabas out of your 15 na konsumo about araw na dinadala tubig dito, yung wastewater 11 million liters per day, lahat yun dapat drainage or septage. Ibig sabihin, kung hindi makakabit sa drainage, you go septage management. Bago ilagay doon. Mas maganda STP. Lahat sana ng commercial establishment, mag-STP kung hindi makakabit sa drainage right away. So may problema sila doon. Tanong ko nga kay Axe, ilan ba talaga consumer nyo? Sabi niya 6,000 plus sir. Ilan ang nakakabit sa sewer? 1,000 to 2,900. What happened to the 5,000? Sabi niya, sir, kasi hindi maka-access doon sa sewer dahil 61 meters lang ba maka-access? How about yung outside of the 61 meters mo? Hindi maka-access. So septage yun kaagad. Yung iba andyan sa 60 papunta doon pero hindi makatawid kasi ayaw magbigay ng right of way. Yung doon papasok si DNR, si local government, para at least makapasok si BIWC. Kasi yung pipe noon hindi makapasok yan kung sila lang. But we need the persuasive power and the coercive power of the government para makadaan yung sewerage system natin. Yun lang ang importante ngayon para hati-hati tayo. But in the meantime, you have to fix first your existing sewerage. Nag-okay ng DNR. Diba? Sa presentation ninyo kung paano maging functional si Manok-Manok at saka yan. Dahil puno, hindi makahinga. So sabi natin, yung groundwater nyo, lagay mo na sa lagon, provided na yun ay treated volume at 60 cubic meters per day. And we are taking very seriously on that. Because pag yan ang nakuha doon, nilagay doon sa lagon, that would now make functional your sewer. Pag hindi pa rin, may problema ang BIWC. Ang problema niyan, baka una pa ma-close yung BIWC ko, hindi Boracay. So, darating tayo, ganun dapat ang pananaw. Ang kaya natin, palagay ko man kaya di ba? Kaya. So, dapat doon ang tingin natin. Unahin natin yung existing. Ang next, what should be fixed after 6 months? Ito na, yung sinasabi natin na hindi natin kaya sa 6 months, mag-extend tayo until December. Now, pakita na natin kay Presidente na after 6 months, 60% of the problem natin sa Boracay, na-solve natin, para kayo di 40%, bigyan tayo ng pagkakataon until December. Baka kaya yon. Pag hindi pa rin natin kaya, 80% pa lang, 2019, 2020, but of course, we are now doing a very tangible na interventions for the island to solve yung 5 na problema. Sabi nga natin, bakit inuna natin doon sa iba? Dapat dito muna i-fix natin. This is focus, relevance, and the semblance of urgency. So yan sinasabi ni company na i-translate ito at somebody should represent the president. Kasi, ang sa ngayon kasi, yung 1 year na, mabigat yung daan yan. Mabigat yan. And that, we're also looking. Mamayang hapon, meron kaming meeting sa Eco Village. With SEC, because we wanted to present ano na ang natapos namin and what specific action that should be done. And most of ang gagawin natin dito is engineering interventions. Engineering ito. Para at least ma-address yung environmental na issues. So sabi ko gano'n, the big 5 na issues, halos dito yan sa Balabat and portion of that Manok-Manok. Wala yan sa iba, halos So I think we need clear kung paano natin gagawin ito, pero kung pagtutulungan natin, because so magaan ito magaan. But ang carrying capacity, we will now cross the bridge kung nandoon na matapos ang aming evaluation. So probably next week tapos yan ko.
Sige, thank you, Director Duran. Sana kung si Director Duran nandito yung Senro noon, wala na to But you know, that is water under the bridge. No? Because if the DNR did its work before, then it would not have come to this also. DNR is also a part of the share of what happened to Boracay. But anyway, we're addressing this. We'll go back to the old the question of Billy. Are we all in agreement that we write an open appeal to the President? All of these establishments here mentioned, Aklan, Boracay Transport Multipurpose Cooperative. Nandito ba sila? Southwest Tours, the Boracay Chamber. Are we all in agreement? Can we get an answer from the audience? Are we all in agreement that we write an open letter? Hindi ko narinig we will...
Maybe we'll ask them to raise their hands.
Are we all in agreement?
Please raise your right hand.
Yes, yes.
May we hear from the foreigners?
Sila.
Yes, they all agree.
Okay.
You will take part in drafting the letter.
They will be part, yes. The one who will pay will be Boracay Foundation and BCCI. We will contribute. It will be a contribution of everyone concerned. Because we have to share the cost here. The province cannot also use government funds for this particular appeal. But we will also contribute, the congressman will contribute, the mayor will contribute, and all the concerned agencies or concerned stakeholders. One word of caution that we should craft it in such a way that we are appealing to the good self of the president, not to antagonize him. So, appeal to the president, to the good self, especially what will happen to our workers, because he's more concerned about the workers of the island who will be disadvantaged. Not the big business, no? Because to him, big business can survive the crisis, but not the workers. No? So, and also, before I forget, I got a text message that there is a planned action tomorrow or tonight. Now, if we do that, make sure that the message is positive, that we are not for the closure. We are not for the closure, but the cleanup. I remembered when we went out of the island yesterday, when Secretary Simato saw a big sail from a sailboat. No to closure, yes to cleanup. And he made a picture of that because I think he agrees with our concern. So, if there are actions that we should be done, it should be positive, no? It should be positive, and not to antagonize the three departments or antagonistic to the national government, because we have to be very careful in crafting our appeal. Okay? So, Ms. Danette is, I think, would like to have some suggestions.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. may mga, ano na ako kainaw ko. Sulat na ko ng mga, I wrote down the questions sent by our, some people here. Ang una, pero before that, I'd like to raise the issue about our drainage inspection. If you notice, our road at the moment, our sidewalk cannot be used. It's very dangerous to walk there. Actually, this opening of the drainage started by July with the help of BIWC and the LGU, and then we're now to budget. So we started looking for budget, and then I think the EMB promised 1 million to the LGU, no, to help finance the project, and then the money didn't come. Walang pera. So we'd like to follow up on EMB. Kung yung 1 million kung pwede ibigay nyo na, so we can continue with the project. Right now, it's the mayor who lent money so that the engineer can do it. And then the engineer called all the mayor instructed the engineer to call all the contractors on the island to volunteer to help dig up the drainage. Unfortunately, they didn't finish the job. So we had to take over the LGU, and then we found out that the money, they've been processing the release of the fund. Unfortunately, until a few weeks after, wala pa rin. So the mayor nga lent 300,000 to engineer so that we can buy the materials, the steel, the utang, the labor you cannot utang, you cannot tell them you have no salary, the workers. But the materials he was able to buy, or how you call that? Get credit from the hardwares. So the credits, of course, the credit is good, but we need cash. So the cash is for the workers. Right now, the work is going very slow. And so, Gob, we'd like to ask you, if you can help us. In that budget, it's difficult not to move without money at the moment. So we'd like to get your commitment to help. Go.
As I have said, I know about the problem of the LGU because this was discussed with me yesterday about the lack of funding, and that is why the work is going very slow. So the province will help LGU Malay. Rest assured that by Monday, Engineer Magalit, by Monday, we will mobilize our people and provide the funds for the materials. If LGU Malay can get credit, I'm sure the province of Aklan can also get credit from the suppliers here. And so that we can fast track. Because the Secretary Simato was always saying this time and again, the culprit is the drainage outfall at Imbalabag. And he keeps on telling that it's 18,000 parts per million ecolite. So if we can address this as soon as possible, by Monday we will mobilize. Vice Mayor Swallow, we will mobilize our people, our equipment, so that we can finish this. You're right that the people cannot walk on the sidewalk. And it was even reported to me that one foreigner, met an accident in one of the manholes. So we will do that for the LGU Malay. My engineer will just coordinate with your people so that we can share the work. No? We can immediately mobilize by Monday. So as the DNR representative has already given an overview of what is to be done, but my concern is really immediate. We should show by the end of this month or 1 month that we have cleared the water, we have solved our solid waste disposal system. BIWC would finish their connector line to Manok-Manok, and hopefully this will ease the pressure of Balabag. And we need that gap, no, of to be constructed where the DPWH will have to construct. The right of way for that gap we need immediately, if possible within the weekend, so that DPWH by next week can mobilize in the construction of that road, connecting the back road to Bolabo, to Mount Luho. So if we can request, the Vice Mayor has volunteered to negotiate with Villanueva Ross family. Honorable Jupiter is here already. Honorable Jupiter, can you help Vice Mayor Abrams to convince, if maybe you can talk to them this weekend, so that by Monday, because DPWH has already staked already what is needed, so that by next week, construction can be done. No? Those are the things that Secretary Simato wants to see, so that he will know that we are committed for the rehabilitation of this island. Okay. So last word from Jonathan. Yes. After that will be the Vice Mayor.
Singit lang ako, Sir Sorino. Yung dun sa proposition na magkaroon ng open letter, publish sa newspaper, it's for public consumption. Baka yung sinasabi ni Governor na antagonize, iba ang dating sa Presidente, knowing the President na ayaw niya nung bakbakan in public. Baka kasi pwede na gawin yung letter, dalihin through your connections, Secretary Roque, iabot sa Presidente, mabasa na lang ng Presidente kasi in public, baka makompromise din yung mga pronouncements ng mga secretaries na ayaw niya namang in public magkaroon ng banggaan. Yun ang worry ko po, knowing the attitude of President. So baka mabuti na wag na siyang i-publish, dali na lang siya discreetly to the President through your connections or have an audience with you. Naisip ko lang po.
That was what I was worried about. How to craft a letter that will not antagonize the feelings of the President and the three secretaries. So we first draft the letter from all the stakeholders, and let's decide whether an open letter is necessary, or we just present to the President privately through our connections in Malacanang about the sentiments of the island. So thank you for that reminder, Jonathan. And the Vice Mayor has some words.
In addition, Governor, sa suggestion ni Jonathan, mas maganda siguro kung dalawang sulat. Yung isa galing sa stakeholders, yung isa naman sa mga workers. I-separate natin yung sa cooperative, yung mga workers. Kasi mas magandang contest nun, dapat sentimental yon para ma-feel ni Presidente na pagbigyan yung apila. And tungkol naman po doon kay Mrs. Juvie Villanueva Gross, kasi nasa Switzerland yun. Andito ngayon? O sige, kami ni Jupiter na lang ang makipag-usap doon para makumbinsi natin na mabigyan ng right of way. At gusto ko rin ipaalam sa grupo dito na naaprobahan po namin yung moratorium na resolution sa construction. So from March 13 hanggang September 13, may moratorium po tayo sa new construction. So walang tatanggapin na application. At tungkol naman sa drainage, may amendments kami introduce. Dito yung kasama ko si SP Ninet. Yung disposal ng wastewater, total ban na talaga yan dyan sa storm drainage. Hindi na pwede magtapon. Whether kung treated na yun o hindi na talaga papayagan. Dahil hindi natin sigurado eh. Wala tayong assurance na sabihin lang ng iba, treated yan, may STP kami. Paano natin malaman na treated nga? So lahat muna, walang mag-discharge doon
storm drainage. Tapos, ang suggestion ko pag dating ng provincial engineer, dapat mula doon sa may ambassador hanggang dito sa may lubutan, buksan lahat. Yung drainage lahat buksan. Walang iiwanan na hindi mabuksan para mahuli natin lahat yung mga illegal connection. In the same manner din, Gob, na may nahuli din sa beachfront, mas magandang maghukay din tayo dyan. Maliit lang. Maghukay mula doon sa Boracay Terraces hanggang doon sa may Angol. Para mahuli natin, may mga connection dyan eh. So hukayan lang, lahat hukay ng isang pila siguro. Hukayan yun para makita natin kung may mga illegal din na nagdi-discharge doon sa beach area. At dito naman sa traffic decongestion go, yung tricycle nga pala, dahil ngayon may 500 plus tayo na tricycle plus may e-trike tayo na more than 250 na yata ngayon. So yung Clean Air Act natin, isa yun sa consideration, kaya nagkaroon ng program yung LGU Malay na i-convert na yung tricycle sa e-trike, electronic trike na. So may timetable na kami, September 30, lahat ng tricycle phase out na po. E-trike na lang pong tatakbo. Tapos yung lahat naman ng private, yung golf car saka club car, kasi marami yan dito eh. May ordinansa na kasi ngayon na bawal silang magbiyahe dito. So ipatupad na rin, pa-implement natin na wala ng golf cart, wala. Maliban dun sa banggit na kanina, doon sa may Mount Toho. Dito naman sa main road, lahat ng access road sa Boracay, hindi na papayagan yung golf cart saka yung club car para mabawasan din yung mga sasakyan. At lahat yun, ATV, golf cart, club car, lahat yun. Tapos magkakaroon din ng inventory ng mga sasakyan, lahat ng establishment, hotel, restaurant, privately owned, magkaroon ng inventory. Kasi sa traffic code natin, may limit na kung ilan lang dapat ang bawat hotel. Base yun sa number of rooms. So, mag-inventory yun. Pagka sumobra ka dun sa limit mo, tanggalin din sobra para mabawasan yung sasakyan. Tapos yung aging natin, may 5 years tayo na yun ang pinapayagan, may aging policy. So, pa-inventory natin yung mga sasakyan. Pag umapaw na doon, tatanggalin din sa isla para mabawasan din yung traffic natin. Ano ba? Ang sabi ko nga, if you will allow me to quote yung statement ni my namesake sa tayo na presidente ng Amerika noon, si Abraham Lincoln. Sabi niya, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Dito naman sa Boracay, don't ask what the LGU, provincial sa municipal, and the national government can do for you. Ask what we can do to preserve the island. Thank you po.
So, continuation ng drainage system, just two more things. Ang drainage system will cost, the entire drainage system to be opened and repaired will cost 12 million. Okay, so 12 million ang abutin. Sabi ng BIWC, yun ang cost. So ngayon, syempre, at the same time, sana while we're doing the drainage system inspections, sana pwede ba natin din, Rob, na bigyan ng konting maintenance yung main road natin. A little maintenance lang. We've been asking for quite a few meetings already.
Yes, our problem with the maintenance of the road, we have actually allocated 20 million in our budget for the repairs of the road of Boracay. Our problem is that there is also an ongoing excavation coming from the two water service providers. So we will just rationalize this. Your suggestion is open up all the drainage from
right now, the work it started from 24/7 front because we did already the inspections until 24/7. So we're now on the right side of the road, going to Station 3 and back.
But do you mean that we will, this is under our sidewalk?
Yeah.
Do you mean to say that we will excavate all our sidewalk?
Yeah, because the illegal connections are under. I mean, there are illegal connections from of the establishments along the road. Kita natin yun. Nakita namin marami.
Sige,
I
will ask my engineers if that is practical, no? Because we will actually lose our sidewalks if we excavate all of this.
There's already a back portion of the 24/7 cross. May mga steel bars na doon. Yun, aayusin naman kaagad yun.
Okay.
Butas, lagyan ng steel bars.
So,
So kita natin yun sa ilalim.
Who is in charge of the drainage here? Ed?
Engineer Philip.
Joy.
There's a task force.
Yes, let the engineers talk about it. What is most practical? But as I've said again, the province is willing to help. Because as I have anticipated this problem, and we have reserved some amounts from our 2017 budget, funding that can finance all of these requirements. So we will help you if you have problems with reallocating your budget. The province will do its share to help you.
Actually, Gop, si Director Sampol na committed personally 12 million to finance the When we had the inquiry at Congress, all we have to do is, I haven't seen him. I would like to remind him of his commitment.
It's very difficult for a regional director to commit because it is not within his powers to allocate the budget. It is only with the secretary, and even the secretary is complaining that he has mobilized all these people in the Philippines to mount inventory in Boracay, and he has not received any funding from the president. So that is always the problem, no? But what we can do is what we have, we can share with you what we have. Last few questions, siguro last 2 questions.
In connection with what Vice Mayor said. Connection, Vice, what's going to the topic here are the single bikes. And if you look at statistics, I have a rescue team, I have a rescue medical team. A lot of tourists and a lot of people make accidents with these single bikes. My children here are single bikes, so it will have to be, they have to distinguish between a single biker that gets passenger and owner driven. I think only single bikes is all good. Yung ginagamit ng masada, and right now they are abusing. Before it's only 30 pesos, now they're charging tourists 100 pesos.
Tama yung observation ni Mr. Terol, no? Maraming habal-habal eh. So, ang narinig ko yung truck kung papasok dito sa Boracay, tutulong sila, mag-assist sa kayong LTO, mag-assist sa mga puli ng mga motorbike kasi hindi sila allowed magkarga ng pasahero eh. Bawal talaga yun. So, pagtulong-tulungan na lang din, yung LGU kulang din kami sa tao, kulang pa nga yung map kasi nakakonsentrate ngayon si Mr. Aguirre dun sa maraming inaasikaso. So, siguro hingi tayo ng tulong sa LTO saka sa Tropcom na pumasok na rin dito. Narinig namin papasok daw sila para sila naman ang tututok muna doon.
Dapat ba yung pasok sa ordinan? Kasi wala sa ordinan.
Mayroon tayong ordinansa tungkol dyan. It's a matter of implementation na lang po.
Okay, so the Vice Mayor has committed several courses of actions, especially on the traffic, which is very critical also. If we can reduce the number of vehicles on the road, then that will help us in our traffic problem. No? What else did you commit? The phase out of the tricycles. The phase out of the tricycles, conversion into e-trikes, and the like. No? The Sangguniang Bayan will do its share in the reduction of the number of vehicles on the road. Now, maybe one last question, Ms. Bebot, because you are concerned about this. Go ahead, Ms. Bebo.
Good afternoon, everybody. For one, we agree that there will be an open letter. That would be ideal because we're planning to have us or so, and good. It was opened by the provincial government. Two, now go, we are puzzled about the 25+5 easement. We don't know what to do with that and what to follow because there are several monuments that was built here in Boracay. That was the year 1996, if I'm not mistaken, and now there is 2007. So where to follow about and how to do it, because as of now we have plenty of bookings, and if we do so right now, it will also affect our booking relationship with our service providers. So we would like to ask some suggestions from you because we are not hard-headed. We are following what is, because we are favored to clean up and no to closure. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bebot. Maybe the one that can answer that is later on. We will clarify it with the DNR. We will clarify it with the DNR, which is which, because it also confuses me. Which is the right measurement. So we'll clear that up with the DNR before. And maybe Mr. Aguirre here can shed some light.
Last Wednesday, we had a talk with Abdullah, he's not around here anymore, and also Yusik Chan. And regarding the 25+5, because we are actually requesting for a technical conference with DNR to clear up the or any conflict regarding the 25+5, the delineation. The LGU is using the delineation date, I think, way back in 1998 of the 25+5, and there were boundary markers that were put up. Ito yung boundary markers na may nakalagay na MBM. So, it means Malay boundary markers. But when President Arroyo declared certain portions, parts of Boracay is irreparable, disposable, and as well as timberland, that's in Presidential Proclamation 1064. Anambria undertook another measurement, and one of the things that DNR, they told us during that short meeting, is that they traced where those markers are. Yung mga markers na to, nakalagay doon ay BC, boundary zone or something. So, but in many cases, especially in the White Beach, nagkaroon ng parang medyo hindi nagkakalayo yung markers natin. The problem with the area of Balapag is the 25+5. Because I think the reason why they were given compliance previously was that the measurement that was utilized was 25 meters. Dahil yung Balapag area, yung sa may barangay mismo, yung pipe kasi go, and for the information of everyone, that's reserved supposedly for the beach path, which we have now from Station 1 down to Station 3. Yun yung 5. So the 35 is the setback, then you add another 5 para gamitin na beach path. So yun na nakikita nyo sa White Beach, no? So, ang gusto mangyari ngayon ng DNR is to implement the 30 meters sa lahat. Sa lahat. So that means, may problema yung mga located, yung area from the Elizalde property downwards toward Willis Rock. No? So kasi ang measurement na ginamit doon, I think was, if I'm not mistaken, was 25 meters. Dahil yung 5 meters, yung road, nasa likod nila. So parang ganun yung consideration ng time na yun. We also have problems with sa Bulabo dahil wala doong delineation. Wala doong registered na delineation. And it was only in 2006 when Namria undertook the survey that certain points of reference were made. That's the reason why magkakaroon ng ibang buildings yan sa Bulabo will be affected. So, ang akin naman, no, just to show government that we are in compliance, or rather we would like to comply, doon sa sigurado na lugar mo, na alam mo nang tumama, no, tanggalin mo na. And then, saka na natin tingnan kung saan talaga yung proper area na aabot yung easement. Yung alam na natin at klaro na easement at meron kang structure doon, the best way for everyone is just to remove it. And then, sabi ko nga, one way to make sure is you take pictures of what you're doing and then submit those pictures and the report to the NR and to us to show that you have started to comply, because that is what they're looking for. Our participation, no, in complying with other notices of violation that they have given us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rowan, for those enlightenment. No? Because, as I've said, it will really be the decision of the DNR, of course, in consultation with local government, which are the boundaries. But you're correct that if a certain establishment is already very sure that he has gone beyond the 25 meters, then they should voluntarily already comply with the easement area, including, I think, the local government, Ed, because it was reported that one of your structures
we have structures installed or constructed in Station 2. But this structure was initiated by PTA. We are only improving it in order to answer for the need of a comfort rooms that will address the shortage during Boracay and in some peak season during the year. Because the White Beach is the biggest urinal. So there is a need to address that need to encourage our tourists to use comfort rooms, because the resorts in that area would not allow except their guests to use their comfort rooms. I just want to, the things that the DNR is doing, because in the proclamation 1018, it is the PTA that should delineate and define geographic areas within the zones. Hindi ang DNR. Kaya lang hindi ginagawa ng PTA, kaya nagkakagulo tayo eh.
Baka surrender na yung PTA and JESA surrendered its prerogative already. No? So anyway, we can discuss this in some other time with the DNR in a technical conference as suggested by Rowan. But again, the main concern has been repeatedly addressed already. I think we're all in agreement that an appeal should be made, whether private or an open appeal, but we have to do an appeal because it will give the President some, because to tell you honestly, the President has already agreed to the recommendation of the three secretaries. That's, you know, given na yun. When he received the recommendation, he agreed. So, the best course of action for us is make an appeal as soon as possible so that it will make the President think twice, think again of the implication of a closure. So that if he will have a second thought, he will now again ask, he will again consult DNR because he listens to the DNR. And the DNR, Secretary Simato, can now tell him, Mr. President, this is what Boracay is doing already. So,
we might reconsider the decision because they are cooperating, they are doing their share voluntarily and well, without voluntarily demolishing the structures that are in violation. And the LGU, all of us are working hand in hand to correct the measures, especially those 4 issues that Secretary Simato has enumerated. So that's the only way we can change this, overturn this, because the President has already agreed to the recommendations. That's the hard truth about this. That's why I told you, we have no other choice but to make an appeal. And if you have connections, if you have somebody who can reach the President's ear on why closure is not an option, but clean up without closure is a better option, then do your share. As a group, as an individual, to reach the President's ear. Because, again, okay na eh. When it was transmitted to him, he said, okay. Pero yung okay na yun, baka pwede mo namang okay na mababago pa. So it really depends on all of us. So that's why I said, the next month is crucial to all of us. We have to show something. We have to show some dramatic changes that will convince the national government to reconsider its position. I hope my message is very clear because we're pressed for time.
May say something about the open letter. It really depends on how we will craft it, no? It could also be that the President will appreciate it, really, because it's an appeal to his compassion and only citing about the effects on the workers and the economy as a whole. Not giving emphasis on interest of establishments here. And it's also, we can also admit in that letter that we're all contributors to this problem. And the most important part of the letter is a commitment to address in a tangible time, within a tangible period, the mitigating factors, and to show the letter is also has 2 purposes, no? Because talo tayo sa sa propaganda. It is also we should assure the general public and the industry that we are doing something about it, because we are being perceived by the people out there that we do not care kasi wala tayong move na nakikita ng publiko sa labas. O kung may movement, kulang sa publicity. So, I believe, no, it depende lang sa pag-craft natin ng sulat na baka magustuhan pa ni Presidente. After, kasi nag-a-appeal tayo, tinatanggap naman natin, may problema. And then we are committing to be a part of the solution. Pipirma tayong lahat. So it will also be a good example for the rest of the other tourism destinations in the country na tinitingnan din niya. O meron siyang instruction na tingnan din kapareho ng Boracay. Medyo na single out lang tayo ngayon. So, yun lang naman ang aking, kasi when, if you remember, when we had this problem with power, we also put out an open letter to the President, and that's when we got the attention of the national government. And even the general public sided with us, yung sentimiento ng publiko. Sa ngayon, there are some quarters, no, na they're really determined. They are very much convinced na talagang isara ang Boracay. Yun ang gusto nating ma-neutralize. Apart from the President. Kasi, itong mga quarters na to, nag-move na sila eh. Kinakausap na, they're already talking to the tour operators, they're talking to the airlines. So, thinking siguro with all good intention, talagang ang paniwala nila, this is the right solution. So, we have to neutralize that. And it's already moving right now. So, kung ang ating sulat is to the President only, baka hindi, sa kanya, baka itong mga quarters na to, which could also influence his decision, we will not be able to communicate to them. At they will still go on with their recommendation. So, yun lang ang akin, Governor.
So, okay, draft the appeal first, no? Who can contribute to the drafting of the appeal, the former Vice Governor Billy is here. Stay behind. We will also consult kung ano yung, pero dapat we should do it now. It's really because at any time there might be some pronouncements. So we have to do it as soon as possible. It's your decision whether it's an open letter or personal letter. I leave the decision to you because I don't want to decide alone. So we'd like to get the consensus. We have to get the consensus of everybody here. Si Lara has something to say. Just a short, huwag na mahaba, direct to the point.
Actually, Gov, Ms. Billy said that we need a budget. I think, like coliform issue, we have a budget for our PR, and I think we have to talk about it. Okay, how much is our budget? And the stakeholders here should contribute. If we need 2 million, then how much is for the LGU, province, stakeholder, Boracay Foundation? I think we have to have this, talk about the budget, di ba? We have to sustain the PR, not only now, but we have to sustain it for the next 1 year. Di ba, Ms. Billy? Thank you.
That's also very, relevant. Who will pay for the PR campaign? So maybe I'll ask the BFI to talk to their members, the BCCI, to talk to your members how much each association we can contribute, and the other concerned agencies. We will not ask anymore the cooperatives because obviously they will not have ever any budget. Are they very rich?
Very rich?
Sino yung CBTM? Lumabas na kasi si Kwan eh. Si Guding. Pag istorya natin budget, naduga, imaw. But, Clara is correct. We have to contribute for the PR campaign. So the BCCI, BFI maybe you can meet with your members and decide on how much. We will also contribute on our personal capacity because we cannot use government funds for this. And let's see how much we can come up with. Okay? So, what else?
Don't worry, I will also contribute from a personal.
The congressman has just harvested his
Personal.
No government funds for this. So personal capacity. The congressman will also contribute. So we're about to finish. May announcement. But before the announcement, Johnny, you have something to say?
Additional na maiksi, no? Maliban sa nabanggit ninyo ng mga cooperatives, mga organization, para mas malambot ang puso ni Presidente, baka pwede barangay base, no? Yung mga pumuluyo mismo at barangay ang
appeal to his compassion. Yeah. Because he has a soft heart to the small, not small, but to the workers especially. So, Vice, one last comment.
Suggestion lang yung sa contents pa ng appeal natin, may maliban dun sa appeal natin. Siguro a sort of commitment or undertaking dun sa gagawin natin at may time frame dun. O may time frame na ito, gagawin namin ito yung commitment namin, Mr. President. Para alam niya na may commitment tayo. So kung hindi natin matupad yung commitment na yun, wala nang rason na hindi implement yung kanila. Tapos, yung cabinet meeting kasi nila, every Monday yan ng hapon. Mas maganda siguro kung Monday ng morning, maipadala at makarating na kay Presidente. Kasi mahirap yan pagka nasa cabinet meeting sila, tapos na-aprobahan yun, at pagkatapos yan, i-announce na sa public. So, medyo mahirap na yan.
That's correct, no? This might be taken up in the cabinet, and mahirap na yung ma-announce na, no? Mahirap na bawiin yun. So, Billy, can you stay behind and discuss this? So
Yes,
that if we can have a full page, or no, half page ad by Monday morning, full page.
Si Ed Fuentes of Fuentes Publicity, I've contacted him and he has committed to help us.
Yes, okay.
But he can only fly here tomorrow morning. So, hindi naman kailangan, if he can draft the letter and i-critic na lang niya kasi sila magaling dyan. And he will reserve the space so we can get a good rate. Ed Fuentes is also a stakeholder here in San Village, and he is an Aklan. So he will do this pro bono.
Okay. One last, short, very short. May announcement lang si Nanette.
Just one comment. In relation to the suggestion of the Vice Mayor on term sa sulat, again, I would like to volunteer, kung okay sa inyo, the deployment of portable mobile STPs sa mga choke points na kailangan, like for example, the drainage. No? We can have that for you, pahirap namin sa inyo, as a solid action ninyo towards it's free. It's no cost to the government. Kung gusto ninyo, it's there. Thank you po.
I'd like to announce this is our contribution, your first project group now. Parang joint, hindi natin sabihin task force, may sa PR group na sinasabi nyo. We're talking about what the stakeholders can contribute to this. Yung mga image building or whatever natin, no? So here's the first project, don't switch off the lights on Boracay. I support and to save Boracay. I pledge to save Boracay. I will comply with the law and protect the environment. So tonight at 8 o'clock, 8:08 p.m. for 8 minutes, meron tayong unity, yung parang symbolic switch off for unity. So you can show your support by joining us tonight at 8:08 p.m. until 8:16. It's 8 minutes of your time for a chain of lights lasting 8 minutes to show the government how the island would look if closed, no? Each light represents an individual person affected by the closure. Show you that you would be affected too by switching off the lights and joining us along the shoreline of White Beach or on any of the beaches with your candle, cell phone or flashlight raised into the air by joining us to pledge to do your part by following the law and protecting the environment. So 8 o'clock tonight, the whole streets of White Beach should be, wherever you are, basta at 8 o'clock, go to the beach, and then at 8:08, we'll switch off lights along the beach, the establishments, and start exactly 8:08, so 8 minutes. There will be a drone. Are we allowed to fly the drone? Okay. Mr. Leonard will provide the radio for the countdown. So that's going to be so please share and spread the word. If you've received the flyers already. Okay, so with that, please tell your neighbors, your company, wherever you are, go out to the beach exactly. Thank you.